are you planning on seeing like Wolverine? I'm sorry, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh
First
fuck yeah,
weekend.
yeah. I'm
First
gonna try
weekend.
to. I'm gonna try to still get my ticket because it's not really sold out here yet.
Okay.
So I'm down. I mean, it's gonna be I think that's gonna be like another event. I don't know how like the higher ups in Disney are taking Ryan Reynolds' approach, because of course like they have their way they want to make films, and Ryan Reynolds probably has his way. From of course, there's always like a lot of turmoil, but I'm just truly excited for the chaos that this motherfucker's gonna bring. I literally just saw Deadpool 1 the other day, and I was like, I totally forgot how good this fucker was.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Are you excited for it?
Yeah, dude. I already got my shit, so I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
I
you're
bought
you're
my
you're
shit.
the one that's loaded. Yeah, you're loaded more than we are.
I don't know about
That's
you, bro, but I'm not having that shit ruined.
Yep.
And they.
What is up? Welcome back. It's Sunday night. You're here with the Average Boys Podcast. It's your boy Crispy, and I am here with my co-host, the legendary Brian D from New Jersey. Brian, how's it going, brother?
Yo. What's going on, brother?
How it goes?
Everything's well. Everything's well. Nah, I can't complain whatsoever, man. Everything's great on this side, man. It's been you know what? This week went by pretty fast, so I don't have much to complain about. A lot of good things happening in life right now, so I can't really much I can't complain too much. How about yourself, sir? How are you?
Good. I mean, of course, life has its up and downs. I mean, we had a good friend of ours that his mother passed away in the hospital recently. So, yeah, we were kind of. I mean, that's what's going on right now. So I've just been helping, trying to be there for him as much as I can. So, things can be rough like that. A lot of things are going wrong in the world with that kind of stuff, like medical stuff. I don't know if it's like that in your circle of friends or your circle of people, but I don't know. It's been kind of dicey down here with people kind of like.
People are dying.
Yeah, like I don't know, like it's weird. It kind of all started around like the comic story in time for me. Yeah, like so it's just been a lot of people that I've noticed that getting sick and just problems in general. But other than that, it's life. You know what I mean? We had, of course, Hurricane Bueller or whatever the name is was supposed to be coming through.
Bueller.
And I don't know how to say it. Bueller? Is it like Bueller?
I don't know. I haven't been keeping much tabs on it. Just when you say Bueller, I just think of the Ferris Bueller.
Ferris Bueller Days Off. Yeah, that's what I keep thinking. It was a category 4 when it hit Cancun a couple of days ago in Jamaica, and then now it's down to like a category 1. We just missed it. It floated upwards northwest towards Corpus Christi, so like it shouldn't hit us in the valley as bad. We should still be getting some weather because we're kind of in a deficit drought of water. You know what I mean? It's been hitting because of the heat and stuff. So the rain was something that we really needed in our area, but we don't know how much we're going to be getting. Maybe like 1 inch, nothing too crazy, which sucks. But I'm really happy we didn't get hit with a storm, dude. We're not that type of community that's really prepared for this. I guess you could say. So we don't get hit with it a lot. So, always, I don't know if you remember, we had that big ass freeze that happened a couple years ago, like in the Austin area.
That's why I'm confused why you would still be trying to play the victim here, bro. Like, you guys got to get with it, man. This shit is not like Mother Nature's not fucking around with y'all down there, bro. You guys got to get to it.
Yeah, it's coming through. Usually it's big storms, but I want to say like last year, there was a small like tornado that went through like a part closer to the coast, which is still like an hour, 45 minutes away from us. Mm-hmm. So it's still a good distance, but man, it tore through this one part in I don't want to say La Feria, but I want to say somewhere up there. I just don't know where, but like the city. I can't remember.
Man. What you're talking about? I'm sorry, but the shark attacks, bro. Like, what the fuck is going on?
That's the other thing, right?
I saw the shark attacks. I saw the fight that happened out there. What are you guys doing out there, bro?
So that's really weird because that's not like a huge normal thing for like shark attacks to be happening in our area. But I think it was because of the storm. I think like the water pressure or the heat pressure pushed the sharks like farther from the coastline or farther to the coastline. And it pushed them like they were up on shore, like literally like, I mean, the beach, I think I've told you about this. The beach, South Padre Island is like literally everybody's kind of chill spot, right? During like the regular time. Yeah. So it's one of those things like it's always packed on the weekend.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
went
always just a
there
bunch of
on the
Mexicans
weekend.
drinking.
I went there on the weekend. It was totally packed. It was just a bunch of just fucking mayhem all over the fucking
Yeah,
place.
dude,
But
it's
yo,
always mayhem.
did you see the fucking chunk out of that lady's leg,
We were
dude?
talking about. I was talking to someone about
What
this yesterday,
the
and they were like, "Bro, it
fuck?
looked like a cartoon."
Yeah, so it was almost like you couldn't have drawn it better than that, bro. That was
Dude,
insane, dude.
that's fucking wild. You want to know what's even crazier? Than that is like the shot of memes that were going around the internet like seconds after this lady got bit, dude.
Oh, what do you
Like
do? All right, let's say you're with somebody and they get bit. Like, let's say I come out there and I come to visit, and my dumbass, I get all drunk and want to go frolic
swimming.
in the fucking ocean. Yeah, right. And then I come back with a fucking chunk of leg coming like gone. What do you
You
like?
can,
All right, wait, do you go in to pull me out, knowing that the sharks are still there, or do you just let them have their way and then just come get me
oh
when
man,
the
you got to
coast's
do it
clear,
like the
yo?
guy that helped the girl, dude. You go in and swing at the shark, dude.
Yo, fuck that. All right, see, that's where.
Did you see the
Listen,
guy? This is
yeah,
how
that's
weird
what I'm
the valley
saying.
is, bro. This is
That's
how
what I'm
weird the
saying.
valley is.
See,
100% people would have gone to pull the girl out. This guy went in swinging on the shark.
brother, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. There's a very short list of people I'm fighting a shark over, bro. Like that is some hardcore shit. Like he will
Dude,
be a legend. He's a legend. Like that's the
that guy's
story.
100% legend. He's a
That's
border
insane.
patrol agent. He was off duty, and he just saw someone cross the line or get out of
He did
rack.
that for free.
He just went swinging on the shark. And in my mind, I'm like, that's a really good question. It's like, what do you do? Like, because that guy went in and did the complete opposite of what everybody else would have done. I think 100%. I think someone said, "Oh, I would have put my finger in the shark's eye." Another
What?
dude I was talking to was like, "I would touch his nose because I saw the video on YouTube," and I was like, "Did you not see him bite the fuck out of that lady's leg? Do you want to
Yeah,
put
so
your hand
what
next
you're
to his
telling
mouth?"
me, what you're telling me is you were gonna go out there and become this shark's dessert because you already had the main course with the lady,
you're
bro.
the
You
fucking
were dessert.
secondary. You're giving this guy a buffet. God damn, man.
Yeah, like he was like, damn, I just thought I was gonna get lucky with one, but now there's two of y'all out here. All right, let's go.
He's like, damn, dude, I gotta come here more often. This
Yeah.
place is fucking gourmet, dude.
Pretty all right.
It's wild. Because the lady
right.
got her shit bit, right? Her leg bit off completely, right? Which there was a follow-up. The lady,
She
the
lost
hospital
that leg.
said they were able to save the majority of the leg. Like she's not
No
gonna get it
shot.
amputated. No
There's
shot.
no way
This
there's
chick-
no way she saved that leg.
Yeah,
She saved
they
it?
said that they said apparently like they were able to save
Bullshit.
the majority of it, and they're not amputating.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, dude, that's a lot of nalga they're gonna put on her leg or whatever kind of meat. You know how they're like, yo, we're gonna take some ass cheek muscle and we're gonna put it on. And I'm like, nah, there ain't no cap. No way they're saving
Okay,
this leg.
so at that point, would you rather them scrape the meat off your ass and stick it in your leg, or would you rather them just like take that little part of the leg off and then just give you like a amputee? Like
You know one of those Olympic legs, dude?
Yeah, like that shit is
like
like
the
Elon Musk made. Yeah, that Elon Musk
baby.
shit.
I'm 100%, dude. I'm like, give me one of those cool ass like reverse legs. People be running 60 miles an hour. Give me one of those.
Turn into a fucking rocket and you just blast off out of here, bro. Hell yeah, I want that. Sign me up for that.
That's fucking funny, man. No, what would you do, Brian? If you were out there and someone took a cookie crumble crisp out of your leg like that, what would you do? What would be the next step for Brian?
I'm probably trying to think of who I could sell this video to. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna rush in there and help the lady. Is like, all right, let's say, for instance, I don't know this lady. This is a stranger, right? I don't know. A complete stranger. I don't know, bro. And I'm kidding about the recording. I wouldn't record that lady, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know if I'm jumping in there and punching the shark. If anything, I'll jump in there and try to drag her out. You know what I'm saying? Like you may lose the fucking leg, but I'm gonna drag you out. But fight the shark, there's no shot. There's no chance in hell I'm fighting a shark.
I mean, what's that dude doing? He put it in a headlock, shooting it in the ribs. Like, how do you fight a shark at that moment? You're in its environment. You're like halfway underwater, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're out of your depth, no pun intended. And it's like the shark has all the advantage. And I don't know, it could have been two of the motherfuckers out there. Now what are you gonna do?
There was two that day.
But wait a minute, didn't I hear that like 4 people got bit that day?
Yeah, it was all over the.
So at that point, you know, as humans, we have to start taking some ownership in our actions, bro. If 3 people got bit before I got my ass in that water, then I was asking for it. Like I was asking for it at that point.
But like Adrian in the comment section literally says it like verbatim. The valley's crazy like that though, man. You got dudes that are just They're drinking shit on the coast. They're sitting on the beach just drinking. They see the shark, and one of them is like, "Bet you wouldn't jump in that water." And someone's like, "Hold my beer." You know what I mean? Someone's like, "I bet you wouldn't tickle that shark." Like the valley's wild, bro.
That's
The
insane.
valley is wild. Again, this chick got her leg bit off, and a dude went in to fight the shark instead of help the lady. But then again, if you watch the video, there was a fuckload of people that jumped in the water. I don't know if they were assuming what it do, King Yeti, what it do. I don't know if they were assuming all the people that jumped in that sharks get scared when a lot of people show up.
Yeah,
like because that was wild as shit. What is the Shark Week bulletin board say about situations like that? What do you do?
Don't go in the fucking water.
Yep, fucking. That sounds like some Florida shit. Okay, so King Yeti, let me fill you in. In South Padre Island, 45 minutes where we're at here in South Texas, a lady had her whole ass calf muscle bit off, like all the way to the Achilles tendon, right?
I don't know how she's. I'm just baffled on how she saved that fucking leg. I was for sure that she was losing that shit.
Yeah, it threw down an elbow. Someone just elbow drops the shark. That would have been
Macho
dope
Man.
as shit. I think that's the only thing we didn't have is that the moment the guy ran in, he didn't just like elbow drop the shark. Like that would have been the perfect intro for that guy instead of coming and swinging like a proper human being, right? If he would have elbow dropped the shark, that would have been like, I don't know. I would have given that guy some type of reward.
I think you know what it is for me. I think I'm just too scared to have that the way I go out. Like, can you imagine? That's the way you go out is by two sharks just fucking
mauling your ass, dude,
mauling you, bro.
In a place where sharks never attack,
bro. That's horrifying. That's definitely a nightmare. No way. I'm good.
You know what? That's really an interesting concept, right? It's like how many like missed like situations happen that way where someone tries to be a hero and it just like fucking 180s the other way, like completely. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Imagine this dude had gone in and he went to swing at the shark and the shark
never came back.
Just tag his leg and just pull his ass into the ocean and you just never see his ass. And you were like, yo, that dude tried some shit, but failed. Like, does he become a meme?
Now the lady's got some Elon Musk metal shit on her fucking leg being super cool, and I'm dead.
And I'm done, bro. I'm shark.
I'm shark.
I'm shark bait. Ooh, haha, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah, that was probably like the most wildest shit that happened this week. And of course, it was weird, man. Everybody just getting ready for the storm, and there was so many people at the beach, and yeah, man, it's crazy. But again, like that made national news. Like I don't know if you know this. Yeah, that made national news. That lady, there was like a whole zoom in. Like I'm talking like the way I've been using the camera zoom in on her face, and it was like from the Lad Bible website. And it was like lady attacked by shark in rural South Padre Island. Click here to see the story. And I was like, damn, this chick's all over the place now. Like maybe this was her 5 minutes of fame. I hope she gets a lot of it, man. You know what I mean? Because that took a whole ass leg. That took a whole ass fucking leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. But are you like a big swimmer in the ocean kind of guy? Or are you just like rather just sit on the beach and relax?
Nope. I'm not a big beach guy in general. I'll go if we go to like what happened?
Yeah, I'm one of those guys too. I'm not really like a get in the water kind of guy.
Oh yeah, not me.
Yeah, I'm not like that. But I'll get out a boat. Oh, are you okay? Let me ask you something. Are you the kind of guy that if you're on a boat, would you jump in the ocean? Like if you're out there, like
if it's parked, yeah.
Oh, okay. Like if it's just chilling, you jump in. I even get kind of freaked out about that shit too.
I'm not gonna sit out there and just swim for the next 15, 20 minutes, but I'll jump in and get the fuck back on the boat.
Fuck back out, right? Yeah, I'm kind of one of those guys too. I'm not gonna dwell in there. Sharknado. That was the first thing that popped into my head, dude. Because we were dealing with this hurricane coming, and then all of a sudden a shark attack, and I was like, yo, this is a really bad setup, man. This is a really bad setup for a movie.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised it made national news. Yeah, the Valley's kind of weird like that. What is it? Bronco 956 is out there too, man. So if Bronco 956 and the Alamo Pulgas,
yeah, so you guys got to watch that guy. He's that's a loose cannon right there, bro.
Dude, I don't know, man. He's a whole ass Valley person, man.
Yo, he has to be rich by now, bro. Like
by now, he's got to have some money, right? Yo, but did you see what happened to that guy? Like last week, someone like keyed the fuck out of his car.
Keyed him. I saw him get into a full blown brawl like a month ago,
Dude,
right?
yeah, the
Him and
fucking
his
kicked me out
girl.
or something. Yeah, dude, that
Like
was
him and his
fucking
girl.
wild, dude.
That was
And it had to
wild,
be
bro.
at like some like fucking quinceañera or some fucking wild ass
I'm
valley
gonna
place.
be honest with you. I'm not exactly sure about the exports from the valley, but
The valley, dude?
he's definitely a national treasure out there. That guy is hilarious, bro. I'm sorry.
Like,
He is
you
a
want to know,
jewel.
like, I've always wanted to know, like, down here in the valley, we look at him and it's like, we think he's a joke. I mean, because that's, you know, he's portraying, literally, he's just what is it? He's impersonating an actual fucking dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he just looks like him. And other than that, he just does like a weird ass, like fucking shimmy. And that's all he does, dude. Like fuck a duck, man.
Wait. You got to do the shimmy. What's the shimmy?
Yeah, he does like a fucking weird,
do it.
Fucking shimmy. And have you seen videos of him do it? Like he has that shit on, like he's real, man. He's real about that shimmy. And
guy, thank God for that guy, yo. He is awesome, yo.
Dude, do you ever?
He's dead serious. He's dead serious, bro. He's dead serious.
Yo, even fucking funnier than that is when the fucking band came down and he went to the fucking concert and was in the crowd and they were like, "Yo, get that fucking guy out of here!" They kicked his ass out of the concert.
Yo, Rob, we're talking about your boy, yo.
Yeah,
we're talking about your boy, Rob.
Rob, we're talking about Bronco, man. We're talking about your Uncle Rob, man. We're talking about him. Talking about your Uncle Bronco 956, man. My question is this, Brian. I know probably I really 100% doubt anyone in your community up in Jersey's ever like, yo, dude, have you heard of this guy? Like, but like, no. Dude,
I don't have anybody to speak to about him out here. Like, I'm
probably
the only guy on the East Coast that follows that guy.
Man. The other day, people in the valley were like, "Oh, dude, New York Times wrote an article about the Alamo Pulga and the 956 Bronco guy," and I'm like, "There's no one reading that fucking article, bro. No one gives a shit about that Pulga. No one gives a shit about Nonfro, but fuck, I guess they're writing something, man."
That's funny.
My thing was like, I wanted to know what outsiders, like outside of our community, thought of this dude being a celebrity. And like the problem
that guy is a star. I don't care. I don't listen. I don't care what y'all say. I don't care what you guys say in the fucking valley. He is a fucking star. I don't care what anybody says.
He is our fucking what's that dude? Flavor Flav. He's our Flavor Flav, dude. He's our Flavor Flav. Dude, no. Oh, that's fucking horrible, man. Fucking Flavor Flav. God damn it, man. God damn.
Yo,
what are we talking about? We're talking about fucking Bronco 956, man.
Yeah, that guy's funny. I want to give a shout out before you continue. Hold on. Where did she go? Elizabeth said something. Yeah, so Elizabeth hit me up, and I wanted to meet up with her. She's out in New York for the weekend. I wanted to meet up. We were gonna go hang out really quick, but I could not get the time. So Elizabeth, just want to say thanks for reaching out. Hope you have a great weekend. And next time you're up this way, hit me up and we'll, go to the park, whatever it is,
Yeah, man. I wonder what did she go visit family and stuff?
Yeah, I think she said she was in town for something. So hope you had a good time.
That's my dream, man. I want to go to New York too, man.
Why is New York a dream for you, bro? Like, why? What's so appealing about New York? I want to know.
I know it sounds weird. I want to see Broadway shows. I want to see all that shit, the landmarks and all that stuff. I like American history, so I like to be able to see, like, the I guess the best city in the world kind of thing. You get to see all the landmark cities.
All the history in New York was in like the 70s when the city was a real piece of shit. Yeah. But all the shit now, it's like,
But that's something that here in the valley we don't get to see, because like we don't have like large city buildings and all that stuff. Like even the aspect of living on the 13th story of an apartment. She says there's a bag of beef jerky for you, bro. That's dope.
I'll give you my address, and I'm sure the shipping will be a lot cheaper from over here. So yeah, we'll take that.
That's so dope.
Thank you, though.
Like Adrian says, eating Chinese at 2 a.m. is why I want to go to New York City. But so maybe
that is cool.
Rid of that.
No, I mean there are some cool things about New York. I mean, but you could do that. I mean, if you find a good Chinese spot, you can do that anywhere.
No, but I'm talking about like going to see like Times Square, right? Like going to
Yeah,
see like the Broadway area, like the Big Apple, right? I guess that's what they call it, the Big Apple area.
yeah.
But like that, like we don't have anything in that form of architecture in our area. Even like the bridges that you guys travel between the cities, like it's Central Park. Well, Central Park is dangerous as fuck, isn't it?
Yeah, I would not want to be caught in Central Park
I remember like
past
back
like
in the '90s,
6
people would
o'clock
be like,
p.m.
"Ooh, Central Park," but I mean, I've heard some crazy shit
No,
about
it's
Central Park in
nice.
the last.
It's nice during the day. It's nice during the day. When it gets dark outside, it's not the
The
place you want to be.
Chase building, dude. Stop, dude. Brian, do you get that? The reference, the Chase building, the
Yeah, it's that
one
one.
building in
It's the one
McAllen.
building in your downtown. I saw it. Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
only
it's the
fucking building you
one
guys
building
have.
in the
So
valley that Spider-Man can spin around, and that's it. That's about it. But yeah, like we don't have any architecture like that, and just like the environments and stuff like that. Just being able to go see it. That's the same thing as going to go like to Vegas or like when I went out to Florida, like just those kind of opportunities, just to see different types of environment. You know, I had the opportunity to go to Sturgis, and I want to go to South Dakota to see Mount Rushmore, like
okay,
just to see it, just because it's a historical monument. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like it would be nice just to be able to witness it with my own eyes. But I don't know if I'm gonna do it after all. So, but yeah,
why?
New York is kind of, huh?
Why? Why not?
It's for an opportunity that's coming up. If I do get the opportunity, but time. So right now, with everything going on, David's like fuck South Dakota too. That's awesome. I have two of my fighters getting ready for July 27th. We have a
Okay,
match at South Padre Island actually, minus the Sharks. Um, so yeah, I'm getting them ready, and then on August 3rd, my bare knuckle fighter is going to be taking his fight, and that would have been at Sturgis, and I would have gone along, but it's too close of an opportunity. So we're still trying to figure out something. Maybe take a flight like right after the fights, like we head out there and stuff like that. But it's it's a little dicey, but just a lot of things scheduling wise that are bashing into each other. So
got it.
but I'm really excited, man. My two guys are looking fucking sharp. They're ready to kick ass. You know, it's every week training, every day training, and even on the weekend. So yeah, man, they're ready to throw down. It's gonna be a great fucking fight.
All
So
right.
shout out to Andrew, shout out to Eddie, man. These guys are gonna fucking do work. And yeah. Other than that, I haven't really been. I didn't even get to go to the studio this weekend. That's how busy I've been with this shit. So like that's kind of wild in too because I'm really busy at the studio with Caesar because we're trying to get a film going. So we're going to try to see if we can get a horror film done within like the next 2 or 3 months. We're starting to write the storyboarding and the scripting and all that stuff. And we're trying our best, man. We're trying our best. If you were to have
Okay.
an opportunity, Brian, to do a film, what would be your type of film that you would get into?
Probably a documentary.
Documentary? I didn't see that. I would have figured horror too. I don't know why.
No, horror is cool, but I mean, like,
It's kind of like the first thing everybody does, right?
yeah. I mean, not like that, but I mean, it's just I don't know. I don't think I would get as much enjoyment out of making a horror movie as I would making something that's impactful, like globally, something like that. You know?
What would be your theme of film if you were to do a documentary? What would you want to attack?
I don't know. Probably off the top of my head, I would like to do one about prison reform. I
Oh
would
shit.
definitely like to do a documentary just about the history of the shit that is lied to us in school. Like maybe like a just go through a textbook from like high school and point out all of the shit that's just nonsense and maybe just a documentary in general about the lies that are being told in high school and things that could actually help us in life that needs to be taught in high school and just putting that together with some statistics. That would be pretty dope, yo. That would be dope.
That's interesting. I don't even know this part about you, man. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
What do you feel off the top of your head, cliff notes?
yeah.
What do you feel needs to be removed from schools, and what do you feel should substitute those subjectives or those objects, those subjects?
When it gets into the parts about removing, um I would say there's a lot of things in history I think need to be removed. I think
Yeah.
that there's a lot of things in science that even now, when I was growing up, things that have been disproven, things like that. Just to go back and revisit some of the things that the generation that's raising this new generation, what we were taught in high school.
Okay, that's pretty good. King Yeti asks, "What about prison reform? Oh, what about prison needs to be reformed? What do you feel?"
Well, those all depending on what type of prisons we're talking about. Are we talking about government-owned prisons? Are we talking about private prisons? Are we talking, because once we start diving into the whole private prison system, then the gates are blown wide open. We're talking about just modern day slavery, if that's what you want to call it. Um, but yes, Adrian is
Financial
kind
literacy.
of on, yeah, he's kind of on point with more the things that I would be talking about if it was about high school. It's like the financial literacy. That's something
I've heard
that
this before.
that's something that I think should be something that is automatic
Yeah,
from
I think that's a
freshman.
good concept.
And I don't think it should be an elective. I think that should be like a
A
requirement,
subject, subject. Yeah.
required class that you take from freshman year all the way up to your senior year. And if you decide to go into a field where you can use that, then so be it. But at least you'll have the tools with you, ingrained in you since you got there in high school. So that's what I would focus on. That's just off the top of my head. I honestly
Yeah,
have
yeah.
given
This it's
zero
not
thought.
really with stuff in front and stuff. Yeah, but that's pretty good. I mean, that's actually really good off the top of your head kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's actually really interesting. I do remember watching a couple of documentaries about prison reform and all this other stuff about people that had been like fighting the system. Now that like the legal use of marijuana been passing through state laws, like how do you reform people that are in prison now because of marijuana when it's been legalized? Like, do they get time cut off if they still have a lot of time, or is it something since it was prior before it was passed legally that they still have to make sure that they do their time coherently or whatever? You know what I mean?
I would also do a conspiracy fucking documentary.
Oh,
Some off
straight
the
up, dude.
wall. Like I would go be secluded somewhere in the mountains in middle of fucking America and just call somebody that would supply me with enough shrooms to get this documentary done. And I would just be high on shrooms making a documentary about
That's
aliens
fucking
or
horrible, dude.
area
High on
51,
shrooms.
some shit like that.
You're gonna come
That
back and
sounds
be
like a good
like,
time.
my conspiracy is why don't ice cream sandwiches melt?
Okay.
Like, and you're gonna just be like that the food industry is just wild as shit. They're putting glue in the fucking ice cream or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
They're fucking crazy as hell, man. Hey, well, that's really cool, man. For me, I've always kind of, I've always been an action fan. Jackie Chan always inspired the fuck out of me as a kid, dude. I think
Okay.
Jackie Chan is a master class when it comes to directing action in films. But I've always liked fantasy films, like Lord of the Rings, all that
Mhm.
kind of stuff, where it's like very like medievalish and stuff like that. I think there's, if anything, I think right now is a great opportunity for those that are trying to get into film. I think it's a really great spot in history. And the reason why is because you have the majority of major studios having problems finding their audience. Like,
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like a lot of them are kind of like they're bringing in fresh new young writers that they want to be hip with or they want to be with the times, and a lot of these people are like hit and miss on finding the audience for what it is they're looking for. And I think right now is if you go out there and you do what like Rocka Rocka did, where you go out and make some really great YouTube stuff and really make some angles and stuff like that work on YouTube or even TikTok with like the minute shorts. I really think you have a higher possibility of getting someone not like of Disney or like WB, like the big studios, but like the old school, like Miramax and like all those other studios that used to make like kind of like the small straight to DVD films. Like I think you have the opportunity to make it into those faster with people with the equipment and the money than you did back in the day. So like I don't know, there's something about it right now in the industry that I feel is if you are strong as a creative. Like if you can come up
So
and have a
let me
really
ask
good,
you. Let me ask you a question. Are you making the movie, or would you want to be making this movie hypothetically to get to break into the business, or just to see if you could do it?
we want to make movies so that we can make movies financially, like to make an entire studio, like to make a real studio.
To
So
make
like
it a
our
business.
goal, yeah, make it a business. Our goal is not to just make films. It's cool
Got
to
it.
just make films, but I think the overarching, it would be like,
And you think, and so you're saying that horror movies are the easiest way in, is what you're
I
saying.
think horror movies, because they're so templative, they're easier to pull off. That's like doing I don't know, like a small love story or whatever. Like they're kind of easy to write. It's very cookie cutter sometimes. It hasn't been until recently where it's been like very convoluted with like complications. I mean, you even have it like the Insidious storylines that kind of turned like multiversal, like not multiversal, but like multi-demonish, where they have like multiple spirits, and the people at the end like of the movies are fighting multiple demons at once. And it's kind of like it gets a little kind of hoorah-ish. And even with Stranger Things, like if you look at it, it's super imaginarily masterful, but the story is pretty much pretty basic. A Saturday morning cartoon villain, a group of kids got to come in. It's just that they're taking it to be where they take the three genres of different styles, which is like your Goonies, your
Devil.
Supernatural, and then your X
King
Files,
King
and your
Yeti. King Yeti. The answer to your question is Devil. That was the movie. M Night Shyamalan.
M Night Shyamalan. Yeah, but M Night Shyamalan, like you expect that from him because he already has his style, right?
I think, yeah, he has a style. But going back to what you were saying, I think it's a good genre to jump into because it's practical. You can use a lot of practical, things to get it done, and it doesn't cost a lot. Relatively, uh, in a sense of business wise, horror movies are the easiest movies to make because they can be so inexpensive. So in that sense, I do understand what you're saying, but that's a hard genre to crack into, man. But so then let me ask you, what would be your calling card? What would make you different from all the other horror movie producers or directors out there? Or what would make you different?
Um, I would say, I mean, it's hard to convey that because we haven't had the opportunity to make it practical. But like the imagination on how we're gonna do certain like shots and vibes that we've given inspired from other films, like things that we've seen that we're like, hey, that kind of works, but I think if they tweak it this way, it might work a little bit more for this opportunity.
Hmm.
Of course, like I'm one of those people, like, I mean, you're the same way. When we watch films, we've gotten into this point, like we review them so much that we don't look at them as just films anymore. We look at what the director's doing. We look at like what kind of vibes they're trying to pull off per shot. Like, we really study the scene. And I kind of did like a film study. I went back to watch it again for Interstellar. And there's a really interesting scene in Interstellar that I'm really blown away by. And I keep telling everybody about it like almost every day, is the scene when they first bring him in to be an astronaut again, and he's talking to a guy and a girl in an office, and there's so much detail to every shot that there's so much attention to how you want the audience to absorb information that I think is very important to be able to convey across the board. But to be able to do that with a film that's like an hour and a half, much less a 2 hour film like Interstellar, you know what I mean? But like I was thinking about that the other day. Like you have your space movies, right? And this concept of like if you wanted to film someone in an office, that's so easy to think about because you've been in an office many a times in your lifetime, right? But there's like
Yeah.
scenes in Interstellar when the ship is flying by like the rings of Saturn, and in your mind you're like, how can I make this shot interesting when it's just a little ship and just a big planet in the back? And those things are like, sometimes it's interesting on the way that they do sci-fi movies like that to me. I don't know why. It's just like, just the way you absorb information, the audience sees it, and how you want the audience to feel going into the next shot. It's so beautiful, man. So fucking beautiful.
Mm.
But yeah, we have a premise to the story. We have an idea on what we're gonna do. We don't want to make it like a full length feature film. We want to do like maybe 30 minutes. We want to go kind of like short, long film, just enough that we can kind of not get carried away and be very smart about what we're doing for this, just to kind of get our feet wet. This is going to be like our debut work project. So I'm really, really excited for it.
Well, listen, if you guys are, call casting or holding a casting call for, a handsome, dark-skinned
we got it,
brother. Just hit me up, bro. Just hit me
Most
up, brother.
definitely.
And listen, I'm not trying to die. So if you could have me survive,
not die, yeah. If we can have you not die,
that would definitely speed the ball up on me getting out there to shoot my scenes. That's what
Are you okay? So watch. Hispanic guy. Every time a Hispanic guy's in a film, it's always like the comedy, the guy that cuts the yard, the janitor of the film or whatever. You know what I mean? Always doing dumb shit. The black guy, typical black guy in a horror film, is always like troped to be like one of the dudes that dies in the film, right? Does that get under your fucking skin? Does that get under yours? Because the fucking Mexicans always doing dumb shit. They're always the crooked cop. They're always the fucking janitor guy. Like, except for the dude
I told you a couple weeks ago, like, I'm a Mel Brooks fan. So it's like you can't be sensitive and be a Mel Brooks fan. You know what I'm saying? So I've grown up being able to laugh at stereotypes, being like, I find this shit funny as well. Yeah. It's when it's done in malice that kind of irks me. But if it's done in a joking way, listen, we're not here for a long time, bro. Like, I can't be mad every time, someone makes a joke about a black person, or, someone makes a joke about a Spanish person in my presence. You know what I'm saying? So no. The answer to your question, no, that doesn't bother me.
It's because, you know what? It really kind of caught me when we were working on this story, because while I'm working on the story with my friend Caesar, he's one of my close friends and students and everything, man. We want the protagonist, the main character, to be a female. And right now, with the scope of how, films are in Hollywood, everyone kind of shuns on the idea of female leads sometimes, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes people look at it and be like, oh, you can't handle a female lead, or sometimes like there's like this whole weird conversation about it. And I was talking to him.
Hold on. Where's that narrative coming from though? Who's the one that's saying that?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of like people that are full of malice and hatred, like online.
But just to specify, is what I'm saying is you're concerned about getting off the ground. Like, you can't be concerned about what people are going to say about the movie.
Oh, yeah.
You need to worry about the people that are going to be funding this movie. So, like, what do they want? If it's you and Alex, then what do you guys want to do?
Caesar.
You can't, or I'm sorry, and you and Caesar. It's what you guys want to do. It's not going to be, and if it was somebody funding,
we're not really basing it on anybody else's
they want to do. Yeah, but you're about to tell me some shit that I don't care about. Like, I don't give a shit about what people are saying, and that should not like sway one way or another what you do about your vision, your movie.
It's not swaying it, because in my opinion, in our opinion, when we're talking about it, I think in this genre of film, a female lead would be a more logical character to have in front that wants to kind of take their time and investigate and do certain things. They want to look up. It feels more in tune to what the theme of the film would be like if it was natural. Like, in my opinion. So
I don't know, man. I mean, Barbie just made $1 billion and had a female lead, so I don't know what you're talking about. There's movies out there that make money with women leads. So it's just all about the story and how it's written. If it's a shit story, it's gonna be bad, and it's probably gonna have the extra salt on top because it is a female lead. You're probably gonna get punched in the mouth for that too. So just understand what you're up against. Yeah, the cards are gonna be stacked against you, but if it's pulled off effectively, then who gives a fuck?
Yeah, it should be all right. I mean, it's just, but it's like I said, it's just like, it's so weird how it became a part of our conversation when we were talking about it, in the sense of like, hey, we feel this. Do you think that would be a factor? And of course, like, our opinion was like, well, I don't give a fuck if it's a factor if someone else doesn't like it just because it's a female. But again, it goes back to what we've always talked about. If we take our time, we write a coherent story, something that feels good, the audience will like it. They should like it, right? That's our whole thing. Is it shouldn't really be like a political situation or whatnot, because it's not something we're really going for in the sense. We just want to make a movie that gives homage to what we believe the genre deserves, right? That's kind of what it is. Like, we just think that it's something that it deserves to, like, our tribute to the horror genre. So
Well,
we're really excited.
I support it 1000%. I don't
Bro.
want anything hindering this shit. I want you to do, your shit, your vision. Fuck what anybody's got to say. And
As a matter of
good luck to you
fact,
guys, bro.
talking about behind the scenes stuff, we have been using and utilizing a program that uses AI to help not produce, but kind of like keep things organized. Yeah. And it's super interesting, man.
Well, look at you. Look at you.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's one of those things I've told people before. I don't like AI when people just abuse it because they think it's like it'll do all your work. But if you use it as a tool and you're an artist and can make things happen, it makes your job way easier.
Chris, man, let's not do this, bro. I think I had to fight with you for like 2 weeks straight. I think it was about 2 weeks straight we had to fight about this AI shit.
No. But I mean, it's something I know, but I'm not saying I'm going to argue about it. I mean, and I'll still stand on business, and I'll tell people, fuck AI if you're using it and you can't draw. If you can't draw and you're using AI to make drawings and you're selling that shit, fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. But if you know how to write, you know how to do your own things, and you're using AI for just work, like to make your work effort like a faster, your workspace, use it. Use it to make your workspace faster. I mean, it's one of those things like okay, let me ask you. If you're a photographer and you're doing weddings, let's say you do 175,000, or let's say 1,745 pictures in one night.
Okay.
And 200 of those pictures get corrupted.
All right.
Like, they get corrupted. And the only way to save it is to use an AI program. What do you do?
Okay. I would have probably used the AI program to take the shit. So I don't even know why you're asking me, bro. I did AI the shit.
You're like, fuck that. I would have used AI to take the photos. I would have just sat at home.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but you see, like, as a photographer, those kind of situations happen because the SD card goes faulty, or you take a photo and it was not focused because autofocus was incorrect, or your manual focus was a problem, and AI can fix that shit. You know what I mean? Is it doing the work for you? No, you've already done the work. You're just in a situation that you need something done, because you could probably uncorrupt the files, but it's going to take you a fuckload to do it manually.
Are you wrestling with the idea? Like, of course not, you're using it, but I'm just saying, are you wrestling with the idea? Are you still fighting with the idea of using AI and whether or not it's acceptable? In a professional
I'm not fighting it, because I know that without it I could still manage. It's just going to take me longer. You know what I mean? But I do understand, if I go put something through AI and someone says, oh, well, you fucking used AI, you're a cheapskate, I'll be like, no, because I can literally take it off and do it again. It's just going to take me longer. My biggest problem is the people that can't do it and use it and then claim that they can. You know what I mean? The posers. I'm not good with posers.
So I was just about to fucking say that. So you just have a poser problem all across the board, no matter what genre, no matter what topic of conversation, just the posers, just across the board. You have an
straight up punk across the scene, baby. If you're a poser, you're a poser.
Fair enough.
No, but that's kind of like what it is. So we've been using this program, and it's been doing us some really cool justice, man. So what it does is we input characters and shots and designs and ideas and themes, and it'll give you like a footnote summary of what those characters are doing at that time. And we've been casually blown away by some stuff that it's been doing. It's kind of like a hit or miss, I guess you could say, because we'll already go in. We already have a whole format and background done to the story. So we'll implement one part to be like, okay, let's see what AI comes up with to see if it softens the blow or makes it more organic. And it's been doing some pretty good stuff. I forgot the name of the title of the program. It's like Saga something, SAGA something. So if anybody's out there in film, let me get the program name in case you want to give it a try. Saga Film Program.
So are you saying that you're going to be using this for your film? Is that what you're bringing this up about, or?
We're at the process right now using it, helping us get like I guess like planning the majority, like the background of the story, like all the baby or small details as to what we might be missing. So we're using AI kind of like our, I guess like a shop manager. You know what I
I
mean?
got it.
Like someone that like, because between Caesar and I, and we bring in several friends to throw ideas at him to say like, hey, what do you think about this? So like one of the other ones the other day was like, okay, cool. Like in our story, there's regular hauntings and poltergeist hauntings, right? So there's a
Mhm.
separation between two types. But the reason why there's those type of hauntings in the first place is because some type of artifact was used in the location, which could be like a book, a piece of jewelry in history, or you know the cauldron or the cup, something that's cursed or like used to do like a séance, right? Some type of
Mhm.
artifact that has some type of evil power nature to it. And what we did was we implemented all these different types of artifacts, and then we had the AI system tell us in different scenarios how they could use those. So
Okay.
one of them was like a book, the other one was a cup, the other one was a necklace, the other one was like a ring of power kind of thing, and it gave it four different scenarios using each one of those. And we were like,
Okay.
okay, cool, because of the factor is like most stories in that nature would use an artifact in the first place. They
Mhm.
would use some type of thing that holds the power that has to be broken so the curse gets lifted, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of like just gives us more ideas to bounce each other off, where we would do the same thing amongst five friends. If we bring in five friends to do it, we can be like, what do you guys think of this thing? And they, a totem, there you go. Even better, a totem, right? So it just gives us more opportunity to come up with different ideas and bounce ideas back off of something other than each other.
Okay.
And solid work, man. I recommend it. I want to say program. Shit, I'd have to see pro. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I think it's just Right on Saga. There you go.
There you
The
go.
program's called Right on Saga. It's a screenwriting pro. And it actually, what's really cool is it does the motion AI. You know how like when it gives you an image and the images kind of move.
Okay.
So like we did one of them the other day where like children were playing tag in a field,
Mhm.
and it showed like the children slowly like moving, and I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
oh fuck, that's really cool. Like it gives you just more of a visual representation of what it is in your imagination. I thought that was really fucking cool. And yeah, it's a great tool. So yeah, if anybody ever needs a writing tool for screenwriting, Saga, writeonsaga.com, go check it out. We're highly recommended. But yeah, hopefully we get that kind of going. I'll talk to you about it later because I know you like
Okay.
films and stuff like that, and I'll throw you the idea and you tell me what you think of the idea that we came up with and stuff like that. But
Okay.
yeah, I want to keep it on the down low because I want people to be super surprised when it comes out and be excited for us and things that we're doing here in the valley in our small little area. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into our nerd conversations for the week. It's been pretty slow this week, huh? Not too crazy,
Yeah,
nothing nuts.
it's been pretty slow this week.
Actually, what's kind of weird is the stuff that we're probably going to talk about is probably what we talked about last week, but of course it's just different stuff that has come out. The main topic we'll be talking about, of course, we'll probably be talking about, of course, the boys and the Alcolyte, and probably jumping into some gaming conversation, which we're going to be talking about today. But I wanted to start off real quick with: did you get to see the set photos of James Gunn Superman with Hawk Girl and Green Lantern?
I did. I did.
Brian, how do you feel about all this, man? Oh, is that a Zoom? Are you messing with a Zoom?
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. Get that zoom in. I want super zoom.
What were you saying?
Guy Gardner and Hawk Girl, Green Lantern and Hawk Girl. What do you feel about this, man? Because like, I don't know, dude. Like, I'm kind of, I'm a little iffy right now with the whole situation.
I do. mm, I don't know, man. This shit looks wild. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan. I think I said it in the chat. Like I was about to. There was a split second right there where I was gonna shoot this a little bit of bail, but you know, fuck it.
It's
I'm
hard.
not. I'm gonna need to just see more. I'm gonna need to see more. I think I'm at the point where I'm just gonna have to see the movie to give an opinion about it because I'm not from the set pieces that I've seen. I'm not a big fan.
I'm
Um,
not. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like, it looks like shit. Like
I wouldn't
it
say that.
really, it,
I wouldn't go that far.
but
But
it
I
really
if
does
that's your
look like
opinion,
a CW show.
I can
Like
see that.
like putting this. Okay, again, we've talked about the Snyderverse. I feel like we've beaten the shit out of it so bad already. Like, and not talking about it like it sucks, but like, man, it's like almost the only thing people talk about when it comes to the DC universe. Like, even right now, I believe there's supposed to be like another release of the film back in movies. Did you hear about this? They're going to do another release of the Snyderverse again in the films.
I think I saw him tweet something, but I don't think anything was official.
No, no, no. It's in.
I mean,
Yeah, the re-showing of the Sny. I can't even spell this shit. Um, I just saw this the other day, dude. Um, yeah, I'm not finding it right now, but Snyderverse.
yeah, I think I saw after the leaks dropped from the video. I mean, from the set photos. I think that he put out who would be interested in seeing Justice League in the movies. I think that's what the tweet was.
Yeah, yeah.
Again,
There
I
you go.
did.
5 days ago, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's been confirmed. It's nothing that's written in stone. He just put that out there trying to be petty, which I thought was fucking awesome. So
I
the
mean, it
story,
needs a little bit of turmoil. I think DC needs a little bit of turmoil because it needs some positive talking points. There's still a lot of people out there that love the Snyderverse. I think the Snyderverse did okay for what it did, and it's out there. But yeah, I think in the situation that I'm in personally, I would just like to see some type of trailer or some type of like sizzle reel or teaser of what Gunn's trying to figure out or what he's trying to come up with. Because like I don't know, man. Like the costumes, they're all right, but anything. And we talked about this a little bit with the Spider-Man outfit. But dude, there's no way you're putting these costumes up anything that the DC's done before. Like even with like the original Batman, Michael Keaton, like you can't put these costumes that they're making with these characters up against those guys. I mean, the Green Lantern character, his wig looks
so
fucking
to
horrible.
you're gonna. Well, I mean, it's pretty much comic book accurate. So you're gonna have to tell me a little bit about this version of Green Lantern because I'm not
Okay, yeah.
familiar.
I was gonna say like
So
that's absolutely
but
yeah
see,
because I was
like this is something that's going to work against them, though. It's like you want people to get excited about your movie. You're picking very obscure
characters.
heroes and characters that people don't know who they are really, and if they say they are, they're fucking lying, bro. So it's like I, he's not doing himself any favors. And then again, the photos don't look uh appealing. So there's nothing drawing anybody in. I'm really pulling for this guy because like if he fails at this, if he fucks this up, pardon my language, he could potentially put DC back a few years just off of this movie alone.
So Guy Gardner, this guy, he's a very kind of like goon character. Like I guess you could say goon in the sense of like very uh
He's a
stereotypical
dumbass.
New Yorker. No, very typical
Yeah.
New Yorker in a bar, like with the accent and all that stuff. Likes to fist fight, the Irish kind of guy and shit like that. The bowl cut has been very in and out. You'll see it in other parts where he has like a normal cut or he's got like a regular guy cut. You know what I mean? But the bowl cut is, of course, he looks silly as fuck. But when they cut him normal, he's normal. But it looks like they're sticking with like the weird cut. But I don't know, man. Like some of these shots and this stuff, like Nathan Fillion is he's a normal looking dude, but like this shot right here, like that looks bad, man. The costume, I guess it's similar to this one, I guess.
I think if they would have made a better suit, it would have been fine.
There's something about it, just doesn't look appealing, right?
Well, why is there so much goddamn white in it?
I have no idea. I have
Every
no
picture you're
this
showing of this guy's outfit,
yeah, it's like
green.
white, dude. It's weird.
There's no white.
Look, he's
Where
right
the
there.
why is it so white?
I have no idea, man. And it looks like it's probably based on this one. But then
Okay.
that's fan art, no? Yeah, that's just fan art of the character. I don't know, dude. I'm super confused. Guy Gardner, I've always kind of been more of a fan of that character in the Green Lantern story because he's always like just a dude. Like he just likes to throw down. Like he's always like a hot shot. Like his character is really cool compared to Hal Jordan, in my opinion. But he always gets his fucking ass kicked. Like he always gets his ass kicked because he's just cocky and it's just what he is. He just has a lot of hope or whatever the fuck. But yeah, man, I don't know, dude. Like, but like you were saying, like this doesn't look appealing. The hot girl, I mean, you can't get hot girl wrong. She just has a silly helmet, anyways, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But man, that looks rough, dude. I don't know. It's something that I'm personally not impressed with. Here's another look. Like, oh, dude.
I don't want to go too much in on personally. I don't want to go too much in on just the negatives because we've literally every time there's been news about this, we've just been bashing it. It's like at this point, there's nothing else we can do. Like this, we're just gonna have to watch it or
You gotta
not
ride
watch
it,
it.
right?
Yeah, or not watch it. And I mean, but like this is so much of a train wreck that it's like you kind of have to watch it. Like you got to see how this turns out. So
Do
I'm
you
all
think?
for it.
Do you think James Gunn runs it the same way he did the Suicide Squad movie?
What do you mean?
Where like a lot of these characters come up and then he just like murders them in some weird ass fucking fashion or gets them fucking killed off real quick. Like cannon fodder characters. You remember like what he did with like right at the beginning of the movie, he kills off like fucking 5 characters like real smooth and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, do you think it's going to be something in that nature with this since there's going to be so many characters in it? Like the Authority character has like they have like 5 superheroes and then another 5 superheroes from the Terrifics and shit.
I think this is what my initial problem was the entire time. Like once it was said that he was going to be taking over the DC universe,
You
this
already
is my
felt it.
problem. This is my problem is that I think I said it since day one is that at some point you're going to have to ask yourself whether or not you're a James Gunn kind of guy
Yeah.
or not. Like he's got a style. He's got a specific style that you either love or you hate. And I don't know how that translate. Now, I think there's like just an unlimited amount of superheroes that he could have been in charge of and could have been fine. Him doing a Superman movie is going to be extremely tough for his style and for
Yeah,
his
for his
vision
style.
and for what he does. It's going to
Yeah.
be extremely tough. And I think that's the only thing that's got me still wanting to see how this ends up because
Because of the train wreck, like the chaos of that it might bring.
yeah. Since day one, this has been nothing but like just bad publicity, bad statements, bad comments, bad tweets. It's just been a like one thing after another. Don't forget, and it wasn't that long ago where we were like there was this whole debacle of who from the Snyderverse is gonna make the transition over here, and some of the actors and actresses said that they were coming over, and
Yeah.
then some of them were saying that they're not. Some of them said that they were planning on it, but then got lied to. Like it's just been a shit show since the beginning,
All over the place.
and I just want to see how this lands. I would be happy if I go to see this movie and it fucking smashes.
And it's amazing,
Like
right?
I would love for that to be the case because then I think that
We're
it'll
on the
light a
right path.
fire. We're on the right path, and not only that, but it'll light a fire under Marvel's ass, which I think they need. So
Yeah, because Marvel's kind of practically in the same boat when it comes to how they're making films right now, right?
they're practically free rolling. They're free rolling in the space of superhero movies. Like there's no competition really, unless you want to consider like the Fast and Furious franchise, which they're basically
Okay.
a fucking super. They're basically fucking superheroes at this point now, anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah, that's a good point.
they have a free roll. They don't have any competition that they have to worry about for the next year. So they're gonna get 100% share of the market and no competition whatsoever.
No competition. No
Yeah.
competition. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Well, yeah. I think you raise a good point when it comes to like right now we're just in a position where of course we're getting a lot of set photos. They're not keeping anybody really. It looks like they're not keeping anyone away from not taking photos of this stuff because they're releasing this shit like crazy. Again, I'm still kind of iffy on their decision to not attend San Diego Comic-Con with at least something, some type of teaser or whatnot, because again, I think, but the good publicity or bad publicity is still publicity nonetheless. You know what I mean? So with people at least talking about even the costumes not being good, or us talking about it, being worried about how they're handling it, or it being a CW show, like there's some verses of people talking about it and keeping it like in the algorithm of people talking about it in some way, right? It's up there somewhere.
Yeah.
So there is some type of desire from us as a community that we need content from them. And I think if he was to go and be like, hey guys, we don't have a trailer out, but here's a small snippet of a scene with these characters interacting with each other. And then we got to see just like them sitting in an office, like part of the movie, like them talking to each other for like 3 minutes. I think that would be dope, which we're probably not. But I mean, don't you feel it's a little weird? Do you remember Black Adam? Like, do you remember all the craziness that was around it when they were like showing it off that The Rock was coming? And they even showed up at San Diego Comic-Con with like a painting or like some type of animation of a cartoon of him sitting on a throne. Like, do you remember that?
I think the rumors were. I don't think it was official that the movie was coming. I know what you're talking about. I don't think the movie was official at that point, but I do know what you're talking about. I think that is something that he used to kind of leverage against DC,
like some type of way to just get people excited.
But the thing is two totally different situations, because The Rock was just directing one movie, or not directing, but starring. When you book The Rock for something, you're getting a built-in marketing machine, right? So
yeah, he's already got.
He's gonna be out there marketing the hell out of the shit.
Yeah.
When it comes to James Gunn, his job isn't really to market this. You can't ask this guy. There's nothing about him that screams fucking Kevin Feige. Like, you can't ask him to do Kevin Feige shit, because he's not Kevin Feige. Do that. He's not Kevin Feige, bro.
Good point.
So
it's a real good point.
So like, these are the expectations that we need to start managing when it comes to what to expect from the DC universe moving forward. I don't think that we've had this conversation last week. I don't think he needs to show up to the Comic-Con. I don't think he's gonna have enough. Yeah. I think if anything, he would be at a point where he can only, I don't want to say he can only, but the chances of him damaging his property is, even if it's at a 1%, I think it's not worth the risk, because again, it's so important for him to get this one right. I wouldn't even take the chance. I would just keep throwing these set photos. I give you snippets, here and there. I'll give you a trailer when the movie's about to come. I'll give you 3 trailers before the movie's about to come, and we'll call it a day. But to go out there and start jumping on stage, doing cartwheels, and fucking promising things that I may or may not be able to do,
I think it's too much.
I think it's too much.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's a good opinion too. Yeah. Well, that's cool. Well, we finally got some pictures on set. Still kind of up in the air about it. It hasn't really sold us yet, so we just gotta wait for a little bit more information. But yeah, we'll see what happens with DC and all that stuff. Onwards to the next part of the conversation. We are not covering Boys and the Alcolytes yet. Actually, we're going to kind of deviate into gaming, because me and Brian were kind of talking about this stuff. Me and Brian, we're gamers. Play a lot of, Tetris and Frogger or whatever you kids play nowadays or whatever. Yeah, me and Brian, we do Fortnite sometimes. Have you been playing Fortnite or no? Have you been on it? Have you jumped into the new whole thing?
You caught me like while I took a
mid-drink.
Mid-drink. So no, I haven't played it in God knows how long, dude. Like, I'm at the point where I don't even know why I have it still installed on my PS. Like, I don't play that game at all. What's going on right now in it?
Well, I haven't jumped on the new stuff, but they have been releasing a lot more skins. A skin that kind of caught my eye the other day was Jack Sparrow.
I saw the Weapon X one. That looked pretty cool.
The Weapon X looks dope. Yeah.
I was 2 seconds away from jumping in just so I could buy this skin and then log back out and never play or never use it. Like, it was that cool.
It was that dope for a moment that you were like, man.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it. I really am. Yo, what's up, Eels? Good to see you, my man. They recently released a Jack Sparrow and a Weapon X skin. The Jack Sparrow ones that caught my eye because of the fact that, of course, like, it looks like Disney might be jumping in the Fortnite thing a little bit stronger, so we might be getting Disney characters soon. which of course is cool. Fortnite's kind of like, I was talking about this, how big of a titan Fortnite is. Like, can you
What do you
imagine
mean?
how one company to be able to bring
Are you just
all of
now
these?
realizing that? You know, we've
No, I'm
had
like,
these
I've realized it
conversations.
before, but it's so wild, man. It's so wild because we like, we just play it like every other day, just to kill some time. But to be able to pull that type of like those many IPs together, I think that's wild, man. Like just breaking it down, like it kind of baffles me sometimes as to like how they do it, like how big of a company is Fortnite that DC, Warner Brothers, and Disney are jumping in on it also. Like that's impressive. That's really impressive. And Marvel and all that stuff, including like other stuff. Star Wars is in it, of course, being a part of Disney and all that other thing. And Metallica and Billie Eilish and fucking the game. You know what I mean? Like there's so many just different things that are in Fortnite that make it rad. Like it's so cool. Like video games have gone way beyond the concept of when we were kids. Like just on factor. And we've played games our whole lives. Like, and we played every type of game. But recently there's been like this talk, right? That games have become a lot harder for people that are barely getting into them. And there was one game that caught my eye a couple of days ago, which was, of course, we got this really crazy DLC release for Elden Rings, which, of course, if you've ever played Elden Rings or Bloodborne, any of those games, Dark Souls, you 100% know that these games come with so much stress. These games are super difficult, super, super difficult. And recently there was a DLC that just dropped for Elden Rings that a lot of people are super hyped about because of course Elden Rings um is such a big gaming service, right? But recently there was a release for a DLC that just popped off a couple of weeks ago, and people were super excited because it of course DLCs have this opportunity to bring a lot more fun to games that have already been pre-existing, right? And gives a lot of replayability. But the problem, well, not the problem, I wouldn't say the problem. What the company decided to do with this DLC, which I thought was really interesting, was they did it to where that you had to be able to pass a certain part of the game to be able to play the DLC. Like you have to reach a certain level in the game, or you have to beat a certain area that had, of course, some difficulty to it, but nothing that's too crazy or far fetched from anything that they've ever created in Dark Souls or anything like that, or in Bloodborne or Elden Rings. And there were some people that were complaining, which is a lot of like the new age gaming journalists that come in with a lot of the newer websites and stuff like that, that give people reviews, the IGNs and all that stuff. And people were talking about how they were not given the opportunity to get into the DLC or give it a review or play it because of the fact that they had to have pre-existing gameplay and hours put into the game to get to the certain part. What I wanted to ask, of course, Brian, when he comes back, and of course, anybody that's out there watching the conversation, how do you feel for the industry to have to, do you feel the industry should accommodate to people that aren't gamers and like the people that review games to be able to come in and place a review on it? Or do you think that it should be withheld for people with the actual like dedication and time and skill that's based into the game itself? I guess that's an easier question, right? Is that a good question? Is that? I don't even know.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit beforehand. It's just I don't know. Um, do I think it should be easier for people to play so that they can play the DLCs? What you're asking me, right?
So I guess the easiest way I could put this is where the complaints of people that are journalists are coming from is that they want the opportunity to be able to review the information or review the game or the content or the DLC, to be able to have their content so that they can make their money based on what they do in the sense of being a reviewer or whatever. But they don't want it to be where they have to have some type of like Eels put in the thing, like a skill issue. They don't want it to be where they have to dedicate a large amount of their time to it. They want to be able just to go in, talk about the graphics, talk about, the
So
story and
this
whatnot.
this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, right? You have a
Hmm.
vision, right? You have this vision
Hmm.
for this game,
Hmm.
and you put your blood, sweat, tears into it. And you make it how you want to make it. You make it
Hmm.
in the way you want it to be played. You can't feed into this outside nonsense because you can't create content off of my shit because you didn't put the time in to play this
Hmm.
game. That shouldn't be anything that should be a worry or concern of anybody. If I'm
Yeah.
the creator, like I'm not worrying about this. I'm not worrying about these people that can't like my game isn't for you, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
True that.
I
I can see
appreciate
that.
I appreciate you trying to make the content off of my game, but you can do that somewhere else. The
True.
people that actually want to play this game and put the time in and dedicate it, they're going to be the ones that will be rewarded with whatever comes with that. You know what I'm
True.
saying? So I'm not if I were them, I wouldn't focus so much on there being a backlash because my you have to put too much time into this game for you to hit the new DLC just so that you can get 17,000 views on fucking YouTube. Like I'm not
Yeah.
that's not my concern.
It's a good answer. That's a really, really good answer. It's kind of like, it's, yeah, that put it into terms almost like what I was thinking. Like, I just couldn't put it in words. How do you, as a gamer, though, let me ask you something, not asking about journalism or anything like that. As a gamer, how do you think of that kind of concept where it's like, here's the DLC, which I thought, yeah, like you see, even Eels is like, yeah, Brian, you're 100% right. See, I think you just put that in the easiest words. I couldn't come up with a way to say it, so that was
Yeah.
awesome. Um, which is okay. So, like, isn't that how most DLCs are in the first place? That most DLCs are based
Yeah.
on you getting through the game.
Finishing, yeah,
Yeah.
like any DLC that I've ever played. Now, again, there's at this point so many DLCs that that you can play.
Hmm.
Um, and I am sure there are some where you don't have to put as much time into the main story or the game that you have to play the DLC. But I know most of the games that I've played, you have to finish the main story. You have to finish like 100% or even like 80% complete of the main
Yeah.
story in order for you to download the DLC and play it. That's just what I'm used to. So when you
Yeah.
bring
Because
this up,
I
that's what
thought,
I'm saying. Like nothing about this makes sense to me.
yeah, because even in that concept, I was like, just breaking it down right now. I was like, wait a minute, I can't really consider other than like maybe like a Grand Theft Auto DLC that just adds like a side quest and some extra guns or something.
No,
But you don't necessarily need to get anywhere. You just download it and then the side mission you could just jump into.
no,
Um, but most DLCs are in the situation where you have to progress through the story to be able to utilize anything in the deal. You look at what Cyberpunk, you had to almost beat the whole game to be able to get the DLC and understand what it was doing about. And then again, like even the Grand Theft Auto story, which would probably be easier DLCs, is it's usually something that's based on a character or a character you unlock that already kind of talked to in mission that you have to go revisit. And now they have some expansion on their story or
that
whatnot.
character. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really weird for that to even be a thing. I don't even understand where these people are writing articles about this stuff. It doesn't make sense. It almost seems like it's people writing articles about this that don't know how games work. Like it's
And
almost
that's
like
what I'm
they
saying.
don't.
It's so like if you break it down like that, then that's what I'm saying. Like you got to shut out the outside noise. You have to, you have to just block all that out because those are the people that at the end of the day, I don't think you should care what their opinions of your game is because they're obviously they don't get it. They're not understanding, the what the whole game's about. And so
Mhm.
I wouldn't pay any mind personally.
And the last part of that conversation, Brian, have you ever played any of the Elden Rings, the Bloodborne, Dark Souls series, or no? You ever
I
jump
have
into it a little
not.
bit? No.
Have not jumped into it, but I do watch enough of people getting smacked around in Elden Ring, and I would say that based on the frustration levels I watch on a daily basis, I'm kind of happy I don't play fucking Elden Ring. So yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say like that game is you have to be one of those people that's into like the third person combat games and really understanding like how to like They call them I forgot what they're called off the top of my head, but it's like the hitbox, like the timing of the
Yeah.
hitboxes and stuff. You have to be really, really
Yeah.
good at timing. I played a couple of them. Bloodborne was one that I thought was really, really cool. Elden Rings and Dark Souls I've kind of like dabbled in a little bit, but I'm not really much for like the grindy single person kind of games. Like, so it doesn't really like catch me. It's not like there's, I don't know, I just need instant gratification sometimes. But speaking of gaming and all that stuff, recently I jumped into a new game that just popped off this past week. In instant gratification, I jumped into it with a friend of mine. You know, we've been in there, you know, dicing it up and doing some stuff. But have you heard of this game that just popped off called The First Descendant?
No.
So The First Descendant, really, really snazzy game, very much like Warframe. I don't know if you got to play Warframe
It's a
like
snazzy game.
snazzy, baby. Like it's just
No
straight.
game is ever snazzy when someone's ever called it snazzy, bro. I don't know. You're sus. You're sus,
No.
bro.
It's good.
Off the bat, you're sus, bro.
No, it's good. And you know what? I was telling because Eels is the person I do a lot of my gaming with. We'll jump in,
Yeah.
we'll do double teams and stuff like that and get in these games and, you know, really, really get a feel out of it because we're gamers. We love this kind of shit. He's more into the RPG grinding games. He likes, you know, the war zones and all that stuff. I like first person shooters and fighting games. So I'm not really into it too much. And he was asking me, we've been playing Helldivers too. And I know you've already seen the Helldiver stuff, right?
Yeah.
Helldivers is a fucking fun game, man. Fun game. But of course, after the Sony problems and all that stuff, it's been kind of like trickling. It's been kind of holding on. A lot of people are kind of in and out of the game, you know, you could kind of feel it. But yeah, we were talking about a couple days. They downloaded it first and they were already jumping into it. And since I was being kind of left out of the loop, I was like, I guess I'm going to download this shit or whatever. And I've been having a good time. It's a pretty solid game, and especially it being for free. If anybody's out there and they have a PlayStation 5 or a PC, I recommend it, man. It's a fun grinding game, something to just get lost in. It's not super dedicated in the way like right now where if you do Destiny, I don't know if you're ever familiar with Destiny, of course, right after Halo, the company, you know, Bungie or whatever jumped into this. In Destiny, there is that opportunity where you can kind of like keep playing to unlock certain things that you definitely need to be able to do more damage to the game. It's like Borderlands. I don't even remember the Borderlands incident, Borderlands 2, where people were like copying and duplicating black guns. I don't know if you remember black guns. So they were like guns that didn't have any graphics, but they would shoot like an infinity amount of missiles and you could kill a boss in like 3 shots. And like it's just exploitations of certain items in the games that you can do. And right now the game for The First Descendant really doesn't have that. It's a lot of people just in the same boat. The only other thing that you got is if you want to put money into it, that's where you don't have to put a lot of time into the characters as much. Because of course you can spend the money and cut the time out, or every character in the game can be grinded and you can just loot for each one of the characters, which is very, very cool. So right now it doesn't seem like there's like a paywall, like a buy to win kind of character thing. Anybody can be unlocked. Yeah, it's not pay to win. It's good, man. I recommend it. I think it's a great fucking game if everybody's out there and really into it. I know we don't get to talk much about video games, but highly recommended. Super, super good graphics, interesting story, fun gameplay, crazy giant bosses, like just cool. It's a good time. It's a really, really good time. So yeah, I wanted to kind of see if we could talk a little bit about games because I had just been into this and I thought it was an interesting conversation. So Brian, are you looking up stuff about it or no?
I'm looking at some
gameplay.
So yeah, gameplay. So
what do you think?
Looks pretty cool.
It looks nice, right? Like for it being free, for it being like free to play, the graphics are really nice.
You have it on PC, right?
I have it on PC.
Got it.
And it's fun, and it's crossplay. You know, it's just like most games out there right now. Crossplay, I can play with anybody, with any of the systems, and yeah, I think Eels put it really, really good. It's just a good time killer. If it's something that you want to do, you want to jump online, you want to play with some friends, you want an interesting story, something that you can go in and have there's a lot of replayability, and it's not a battle royale. You know, there's no like, I don't think right now in the game, there's no PvP. It's all PvE. It's just you jumping in and working with other people and just playing the game. It just constantly puts you in, just like Destiny minus the fighting against each other stuff. So recommended. You guys should check it out. It's super cool. Costumes are dope too. Everybody looks awesome. Everybody looks super cool. But yeah. Onwards to the next part of the conversation, Brian. Now we're going to get into our nerd stuff minus the games. So as of right now, I think I've talked to you about this. I wasn't really caught up on the Alcolyte, but I got to see the last episode that you were talking about. Interesting stuff. Pretty cool. The lightsaber fighting was pretty dope. The fight scene, I think, was interesting with the Kratosis or whatever they call it, the items of the helmet and the armor that the guy is using. And now we're into episode, I believe, 6. Yes. Did you get to catch up to episode 6 already?
I have.
Awesome. Between you and I, I've kind of already given my point of view on this show. I'm not really too hyped about it like that. I know that you said you were still kind of like, hey, this, it's a good show. Like, I'm having a good time. Give me the rundown on how you feel about episode 6 and what it's doing for the show and what it's done for the episode, the season so far.
Episode 6 was, I'm sorry, I've been pulling for the show since it began. Mm-hmm. I think episode 6 was a complete waste of time. It was a complete waste of time. Like, even for the life of me, I don't think of anything that stands out. I think, whatever the big reveal is taking entirely too long. Like, whatever Soul has to tell these young chicks, I think it's taking entirely too long. We should have probably cracked that around episode 3, so that we could have spent more time on, what's the Sith, the Sith guy. I mean, it would be cool if this turns out. Yeah, it'd be cool if that guy turns out to be the first Knights of Ren guy. Like, this was the inception of the Knights of Ren. Like, that would be a cool.
That would be interesting
to it.
Yeah.
But if it turns out to be anything other than that, I think this entire show was a complete waste of time. But it still has my interest. Like I said, regardless, I'm gonna see how this
plays out,
ends up. So I'm gonna watch it to the end. I don't know. I think this is for if this was maybe like 12 episodes, I would still be like, okay, but I think we only have like one more episode left, dude. So it's like, what are we waiting for? Like,
it's I believe episode 8 is the final, and then we're getting 7.
So we have 2 more. So we have
2 more episodes.
So we have 2 more episodes, and they're gonna try to close this out in 2 episodes. I think.
Which, I mean, they still can, I guess.
No, they can, but all it's gonna do is just set it up for there being a second season. Like, that's all that they're saying.
So that's what a lot of people are saying, is that the way this Headling wrote this was she wrote it in regards of it being 2 seasons for sure. Like,
you can tell. You can tell.
Yeah. And I think that's a little egregious for her to come into it that way, because she has to nail the first one for it to be a second. Because look at She-Hulk. She-Hulk was not as bad as this, even though it was weird as fuck, and it almost landed a second season. You know what I mean? But, I think they took way too long to get that story settled out. But this show, to me, even with the Knights of Ren situation, like, even just bringing that out, that's kind of like, okay, like, that would be kind of interesting. But for them to dwell into like I'm a Knight of Ren in episode 6 or 7, episode 7, really, I think it's like, yo, dude, like, if they would have said the Knights of Ren were a thing in episode 4, I would be like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I want to watch this show because I wanted more information on the Knights of Ren to begin with. But if they're doing it on the second to the last episode and telling me like, hey, this is all about the Knights of Ren, I'm going to be like, how?
But I don't think you're going to get it. I don't think you get it in episode 7. I think you're going to get it in episode 8.
Episode 8, right?
That's going to be like the cliffhanger. Yeah, it's gonna be like the cliffhanger, and it's gonna be like the whole shit moment, and then it's gonna want you waiting for the next season. I think. Listen, again, I thought that this was maybe like 12 episodes, a little bit more. Like, what's the rush? Like, why are these? Well, this costs a lot of fucking money, so I understand that. But like, I'm sick of the 6 episode seasons, the 8 episode season. Like, if you guys are rushing to tell this bullshit fucking story, you guys could have kept it.
Yeah, because so look, watch. I've been telling people this for a while, because usually when it comes to these episodes being 8 episodes long, it's usually in the format of it being a full-length feature film. That's the way you would make a regular film, not a 2-hour film. So this would technically an 8 episode film would be a 1 and 35 minute film. If this wasn't episodical, would this be a good movie?
That's what it would have fared better as a movie. I would have probably watched it and still said what the fuck, but at least it was like a quick band-aid rip. You know what I'm saying? It's not each week. It
As
keeps
bad.
getting like it's not like it's each week. It just gets continuously worse and worse. At least I would have wasted 2 hours of my life. I'm in the movie theater. I'm home. I forget about it. Now I have to sit here each week and then just be disappointed each week for 8 weeks.
Week.
That's a lot. That's
That's a
asking a
lot.
lot.
Yeah, it's asking a lot for people, and that's because between you and I, you were the one that was enjoying this. Like you were the one that was like, "Hey, you know what? Like I'm giving it a chance. You know, it's not too bad. Like I'm not being as stern." For me, like I told you, like I gave up on it like 2 episodes ago. Like I
And
was
there's
already,
still things about it I like. I mean, there's still things about it I like. I just think that if you have 8 episodes, episode 6 being kind of what do you call them? Filler. If it's a
filler.
filler episode, I think that's just unfortunate and a misstep on their part.
I don't know. For me, it's like I still don't quite understand what's going on. I understand that this chick wants revenge. I still don't know what for. I don't know what the witches of Dathomir are, or the witches of the other place. Not Dathomir, it's the other witches. I still don't know what their covenant's about. Like I don't really understand
Yeah,
how they
but you
created.
can't. But all right, so I am gonna throw this, and I don't mean to cut
That's
you
fine.
off,
No, that's
but
fine.
like I'm gonna throw this show some bail. That's not what the show's about. The witches and their story, like that's not what this story is about. So if you're looking for that, I don't think that's fair because that's not this story isn't about them. So why would you waste time finding out about them if nothing about this has
Because
anything to
they
do with
because like just in story, they do one of the most biggest things in Star Wars lore that no one else has been able to really do until Lord Plagueis, Darth Plagueis or Darth Sidious, right? It wasn't even Darth Plagueis because Darth Sidious was the one that was the person who collected. He was the one that brought together all the ancient Sith stuff and studied it and did the thing with Anakin and all of that stuff. These people did it as if it was fucking Tuesday. Like, where it was the biggest thing in the Star Wars saga. They wrote a whole trilogy. They wrote all 6 movies, not 9, literally about Anakin Skywalker being the Messiah character of the entire universe. And here are 2 characters that did the exact same thing. And I still don't know how they did it, which I mean, we don't know. We understand how Anakin did it, which a lot of people weren't happy with at that either, with the metachlorians and all that. I don't know if you remember that when we were younger, when they did the prequels and people started introducing the metachlorian idea and all that stuff. The people were upset. A bunch of fans thought it was stupid because you were making the magic of the Star Wars saga into a science, right? But like we still don't understand like how they brought these 2 characters together, how they were created, what they're created from. We know the Force, but we don't know how, the procedure, or at least some type of like thing, right? We don't know their purpose. They haven't really explained much about it except one person wants revenge, the other person just wants to be a mechanic or a machic or a manic or whatever she wants to be. The Jedi's are very weird. Soul as a Jedi is very emotional, which they're not necessarily supposed to be, but I guess it's normal for a person if they lose people to be emotional. Like, don't you think it was kind of weird the way he reacted to Osha being May? Like the way he responded by grabbing her shoulder and pulling her in and hugging her and kind of like being like super abrupt, or do you think that was like the director trying to add suspense? Like that's a super weird way for a Jedi to act super emotional that way. Like, don't you think there's just like things that are just like not continuity to the Star Wars aspect that are not making sense too much?
I think I don't know. I just think our perceptions of what's going on here is a little bit different. I think everything is intentional. I think everything that is in this show is intentional. I think if we don't find out something, it's intentional.
Mm.
Um, because I think at some point they will. I just don't know whether or not they had planned on it being in this season or the next season.
Yeah.
I see the bigger picture here. I see where they're going with this. Um, or at
What,
least
what
at this point, or at least at this point, you should have a good idea, whatever that may be for you. It's just about them getting there, which is where everyone is so all over the place because everyone has their own views on how um they they perceive this show and how it should have been or what they could have done or and as opposed to what's going on currently. So I don't know, man. I, I don't know.
Well, we got Michael Betancourt in the comment section. Welcome to the comments, Mike. It's good to see you. Wouldn't the
So Mike,
witches just be reintroducing magic back into it? I keep saying it, but magic is exactly what you need to be when you need it. Yeah, I kind of feel like magic in Star Wars helps to need an explanation for
but
things,
why?
right?
Why? That's not the. But see, to me, that's not filmmaking. If you have to
Okay.
explain everything to everyone all the goddamn time, like
Takes the
that's not
magic away from it, right?
and it's time wasting. It's
Yeah.
time wasting. Like we have 8 episodes. I don't need like we're already getting filled episodes. Like I don't need time taken away from my 8 episodes where I can be getting to like the meat and potatoes of the shit, learning how they were able to manipulate human life. Yeah, that's a big deal, but we can get to that later. Like you need to pull me in. You need to pull me in and grab my attention. I don't know if that's gonna do it for me.
Well,
As a matter of
okay,
fact, that
so
might just piss me off, if anything.
but think about it this way: like here we are, about to hit the 7th episode, into the 8th episode. What could they have done throughout the 6 episodes that we've already got that would have at least pulled you in? What would
I told
what would have been the thing?
the thing that they both surprised me, and I think they kind of fucked up is that they knocked it out the park with the action and not so much with the writing. I think they fucked up there. And I think that it's obvious that the action is probably the better parts of this show. You should just did more of it then. You could have just gave me a whole show of
Just
some
them swinging lightsabers and fighting each other.
cool Jedi shit, some cool Jedi fights, and I'd have been perfectly fucking fine. You could have told whatever story after that. Because at that point, I'm getting my
My Phil.
testosterone fill of
Yeah.
fucking yeah, just lightsaber cool shit. You feel me? So like I just they could have just done that. And then not only that, but they where the I don't want to keep sounding and I don't want to bash this show and I don't want to sound like a fucking broken record, but where the hell is that 200 million a show at? Where
No,
is
no, no.
that?
It's not lying, man. That's not lying.
Where is that? I need to see that, bro. I kind of saw it in the last episode with like the dude bathing and that whole scenery. That probably cost a lot of fucking money. I'm not gonna lie.
Are you talking about the stranger guy,
Yeah,
Quamir, when
yeah,
he's in the
yeah,
and he's in
yeah.
the water and shit?
Oh,
Like just being on set?
sidebar about that helmet, right?
Yeah.
So the helmet that went on sale. Remember we were talking about it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yo, that helmet's fucking cool. I like that
It's
helmet.
very nice, dude.
I wouldn't buy it for $100, but I liked it. And it did sell out. Now you were right. You did find it on some like secondhand shit.
Yeah.
But from like the main, and that's what I'm
Page.
saying. The main distributor of the helmet, Hasbro, it sold out immediately. I don't know, that could be some fudgy number shit, but that says a lot for a show that's even today, it's still sitting at 14% on Rotten Tomatoes. I am convinced that they take whatever initial number it is and then just keep it for the entire show. Because
Are you
like
talking
there's
about like
no
how
way.
Rotten Tomato does it?
What do you mean?
Are you talking about how? Are you talking about like for the sales? Are
Well,
you talking
what
about
I'm
how Rotten
saying
Tomato
is
does it?
what I'm saying is ever since you reported that it was at a 14% audience score on Rotten
Yeah,
Tomatoes, it hasn't moved from 14%. It hasn't gone up or down, which is extremely weird. So if
that's
it
weird.
was real time, it would have like if it sucks as much as everyone says it would be lower than 14%. If it's not, which I think it would be higher than 14%. The fact that it's still just staying, unless people are just done reviewing, something's up here.
Yeah, it's a
And
little
then
weird because it's
and
been already, like you said, 8 weeks, right?
6 weeks.
No, 6 weeks. 6 weeks. It's been 6 weeks, and the numbers only fluctuated within the first 3 weeks. And like I said, I think the critic score was stayed at like a high number, but the audience score dropped down to an 11% and then went back up to a 14%. And then it just stayed there,
Yeah.
which maybe people just stopped reviewing it because of all the problems, or maybe Rotten Tomatoes put a hold on being able to review it or whatever, because they maybe had like a cease and desist from Star Wars or whatever, or Marvel, or you know what I mean. Like there's a bunch of shit that could have gone on behind the thing, but like why stop it at 14%? You know what I mean? I would have been like, yo, if you can stop it, you might as well raise it to 20 just to be nice or whatever, dude. Like fucking poor guys, dude.
And what's going to happen here is if it stays at that 14%, that could be the that could be the de factor in whether or not you're getting a season 2. So let's say this ends in a cliffhanger, right? And this shit stays at a 14. How do you justify making a season 2? So now you're just stuck here with this piece of shit show for one season only, and you're not even going to get a conclusion out of it.
Yeah. Like you're going to leave it as is. Like as what it is, and it's like that's not a good look, man. That's definitely not a good look for the Star Wars brand or
I'm
whatnot.
calling conspiracy. You know what? You asked me a question earlier
This
about
is your documentary.
what movie I would make a documentary about. It would be this. It would be about the conspiracy to shut down the Acolyte, good and like
And
forever.
this and the
And
story is going to be called, the documentary is going to be called The Stranger and the Alcolyte or something, like the both characters and
yeah,
shit.
exactly,
Yo, so
exactly.
okay, so how do you feel? Okay, because again, I've been kind of up and down about this show, right? I kind of gave up on it after episode 4. Episode 5, I didn't even care to watch it, and then after I saw it, I was like, okay, cool. Like the action, there's nothing wrong with the action, but again, that's you paying someone else to come and do their job, and they're really good at it. So you're bringing in a stunt person and stunt people to do their work. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah,
understand that. They fucking wiped out like every motherfucking actor in the fourth episode, fifth episode. Like all the people that we were supposed to kind of care about, Jackie and Yor and all these people we were supposed, they fucking wiped them out, dude, the most dirtiest ways. And if I'm not
they did.
mistaken, where they got those two characters from, you guys have to correct me if I'm wrong, but they're from the comic books, the High Republic comic books. So like I guess this is where they fucking come to an end. You know what I mean? I guess that's where their characters stop. They're not gonna be in the comic books anymore. But same thing with the green chick, the one that's the higher up Jedi chick. She's also from the High Republic comic books also.
Yeah.
And she has like she's younger in that, like in her teens and stuff like that. Um yeah, the action isn't bad, but like that's not, to me, that's not enough like structure. Like I get that. I would love to see a fucking what was that fucking movie back in the day? The shooting movie, Smoking Aces
Oh yeah,
and
Smoking
Bullet
Aces. Yeah,
Train. I'd like to see
yeah.
a version of that in Star Wars.
But
Like
see,
that would
like
be
that's
fantastic.
see, it's funny because like for me and for us just talking about it, it seems so simple, right? Like you just give us some
Some action and that's it.
some yeah, some action and some silly environment and we're entertained. Like sometimes it doesn't have to always, and I hate to say this, but sometimes it doesn't always have to have a meaning, or it doesn't have to be that deep. Sometimes when you try to get your message across, you just kind of fumble it across the finish line. And I think that's what's happening here. I'd see the vision. I think that this story could have been cool as is had they just tweaked some things here and there. But the things that they missed, I think they just missed really bad. So hopefully they'll get a second season. They'll figure it out. Again, I'm gonna see how this ends. What did you think of this episode, though? Like specifically episode 6. You gave me a recap on what you think about the show in general. You just had to
Yeah.
take out time to shit on the whole fucking show. How about this? How about this specific episode, though? Episode 6. Like, what
Uh,
you think about it?
I think it was a bit confusing, but them trying to start some type of love interest between Khmer and May, with them really not having any like any
What makes you think that? What makes you think there's like a love thing going on there?
I mean, there's just parts of the show where I mean, there's I like just audits and things that they're doing in the show that usual story writers and directors do to show that there's some type of interest. Like whatever it
Yeah,
was, he
I
was
think that's
able.
just the I think it's just the dark side seducing her. I don't think it has anything to do
It could
with
be,
a love
but
thing.
that's the thing. Like
I think it's just him seducing her to join
to become the
him
dark side, because
as his
that's the whole thing
Padma.
about
Yeah,
Siths, right? And that's the thing. Like that's the purpose of it. You're supposed to get that vibe where you feel like there is some type of romance, and Headley or whatever her name is has already come out and said like the idea of these two having some type of Kylo Ren and Rey relationship, that there's a
yeah,
possibility, which I don't quite understand it, why it's a necessity for it to work right now, because of the fact that these two characters barely met. There's no relation to them. There's no like information as to how or why. Usually with like when you had Kylo Ren and Rey meet, there was at least some type of like, damn, that person's hot. When they would look at each other, the actors, they would kind of act out that kind of vibe where it's like, damn, I didn't expect this hot ass person in front of me or whatever. Like, and then there was always their little, like, their little, bickering back and forth during but the script gave us that. The director gave us that. I don't quite feel that with these two characters yet. And for May and Osha's dichotomy when they were children, for us to get this vibe that May was part of the light side because of the way that she was, and Osha was part of the dark side because of how vulgar and fast she was and violent. For May to be the first person to jump right into this whole like, let me put the helmet on. I understand this person is from. She was a Jedi. She literally trained as a Jedi apprentice, so she knows and she understands what the dark side can do. In fact, she's correcting Quamir when he's talking about the dark side, when he's talking about how it makes him feel free and it makes him feel this, and she's like, that's the dark side. Like she literally tells him that because she understands it as to how she's taught as a Jedi. And I don't quite understand if the story that the Headley girl, Leslie Headley is trying to say is that the things that the Jedi have been teaching are only interpretations as to how they feel, and that their way should be the only way it's taught, which I guess is the format across the entire Star Wars faction when it comes to like different people that can use the Force, like how they come across it. But I don't think there's enough structure for us to be like, okay, well, because this dude Quamir, what has he done?
I think that specific scene, before you get too far off of it, I
Yeah.
think that wasn't mostly about May. When she said that line, I think it was mostly about the response from the stranger or whatever the fuck.
Mhm.
Is when she said, "Oh, well, that leads to the dark side."
Mhm.
And he looked at her and he said, "Well, that's semantics." Like I think that was more of a clue into him and what he is going to be teaching her. Like I think that was kind of a prelude. So like when that in that one scene, yeah, we understand that that's part of the dark side, but now we're getting a peek into what his demeanor is. And I think that's why it'll lead into the Knights of Ren, because they were kind of impartial, right? They were inheriting, whatever, both
Mhm.
of them. And I think that, to me, see, there's little things that make this show smart. There's little things that to me stick out,
Mhm.
that leads to things that, if you're just looking at it on the surface level, you're probably going to miss it. But there's certain things that they're doing that makes it smart. So like there are some things that they're doing right. It's just for me, it's like some of the layups that they're blowing. It's like you can tell that whoever wrote this has a fucking brain. It's just that they're not activating it to its full potential all the time. And I think that's a perfect way to describe the show.
What do you feel are like the parts that catch you in that way?
For it's the dialogue. So again, I'm a big person about dialogue. I think that a lot of soul dialogue gives away what's going on. And we were to the point where we were able to call some of the shit that's gonna happen in episode 2, episode 3. Um we all guessed that the stranger was who that was because
Mhm.
of dialogue, because of body
Oh,
language,
you care.
because of interactions. Like
Mhm.
we knew that, and it's things like that that I think that make the show, I don't want to say smart, but it has its intelligent moments. And I just think that there's more there that could have been pulled out, and I just not exactly sure why it wasn't executed more like properly.
So Michael Betancourt says, "This is the High Republic, though. These hubris-filled Jedi don't know what the dark side is. They are aware of it, but it's not a real thing to them. It's a myth to them." But that's always been the format. It's always been the format that there's always just, I mean, unless you go back to like the super old school in the Jedi, but that's not even canon anymore. We can't look at that as what it is. Because back in the day, before like the Thousand-Year War, the time of peace, and the old Republic and all that stuff, it was always just a rule of two. Or I forgot who it was, like Darth Bane or Darth something was the one that started the rule of two. And then there was always like these little assassins or just people that they would take up. Plagueis was about it, Sidious was about it, all of them did it. But it always had been these very, very small factions of Sith that had been around. That's what makes them so strong when you meet them. But like at that time, the Jedi had already established a time of peace, and you had this like breaking apart of the Republic and the Jedi. And I do like the dichotomy of that in this story, where it's like you can see through dialogue that when they're talking about the Republic, that they're kind of pushing the Jedi aside because they're this like old format of like, the old times. It's almost like the feudal Japan, where the samurai were being pushed apart when Japan was trying to be more westernized. The emperor was kind of going more to like the Americanized or the European structure. And what they were doing was they were like, well, we don't need swords anymore. Why are we still fucking with swords or whatever? Like, so
Yeah.
you got that dichotomy of the characters talking about that in parts, but they don't push on that enough. You don't have them to where they're speaking to like the Republican or the Republic characters and telling them or talking down to them in such weird format. So you still, by just structure alone on the way this show is that the Jedi are still way the fuck up here when it comes to the policing that they do. But it sounds like every time the green chick, I forget her name, dude, Kathleen, or the chick's wife, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every time she talks about it like they talk down as fuck to the Jedi, that the political people talk down to them as usual, which of course in the last three films we saw that the political rich higher elite people had like their own agenda that was going on behind the scenes, which was again never established. Same thing like the Knights of Ren. But it's just one of those things that even though the hubris of these Jedi is that they are policing this idea and that there is a dark side, I think it's very weird going back to like all that shit that people have been talking about for the last 2 days, that Conehead guy, knowing that the Jedi had been around and he says they hadn't been down for a millennium, but then you have this situation, is that they do understand that there is like a group of people that do abuse the dark side. Because even with all the fancy dialogue or whatever, the only thing Quamir has administered is that he wants to be respected and given his place. He wants an apprentice, but all he's done is murder. All he's done is murder. It's like the Joker in the DC universe. If he was to come out and say like, Joker, what do you want? And he's like, well, I just want a house and a mansion and to be left alone. You're going to be like, fuck you, bro. You just killed 8 dudes. Like,
Yeah, but it's deeper than that though. It's like he's not doing it. He's not doing it because like there's the motivation is that he wants to exist. He's saying that he's not able to exist, like he's not able to be alive in the eyes of the Jedi. And he's like, who the fuck are the Jedi to tell me that I can't exist?
Yeah, because he's nurtured. He's nurtured in that sense. Someone told him that that's the way it is.
But regardless, that's his reasoning behind it. He just wants to exist.
He's still going around just murdering motherfuckers, man. He came up when all the Jedi showed up. He could have been like, "Hey, let's talk it out."
So let me ask you a question. I'm
not going to pull out my shit.
No, but that's not how this is. And that's not how. And like you said, that's how we thought. But let's just say you are in a hostile environment with a group of people that think that you have to be taken out because you cannot exist based on whatever it can be because of
because they don't know the Sith exist.
Well, they
no, they don't.
I'm saying no. Okay, this is we're not talking about the Jedi. We're talking about you as a Sith. Let's just say you as a Sith, right? You're existing, minding your own fucking business, doing your own Sith shit. But you do know that whenever you see a Jedi, it's on because you are not supposed to exist. You're basically wanting to live your life however you see fit, whether that means indulging in the dark side, living in the light side. You just want to exist and live your life however you feel free. But this type of fucking
This is why you should be on the
group,
show, Mike.
Mike's
like, I
type of
can't
group.
say fast enough.
All right. So, but damn, I just lost my fucking shit now.
No, I'm sorry. It's because Mike was like, I can't type fast enough.
Yeah, so Mike, dude, like I said this to you when we talked the other day, bro. You should be in here because I am very interested to know, what your thoughts are about this. But yeah,
I don't know, man. It's kind of weird. Like Mike puts it in there because, of course, in the show, the guy never claims to be a Sith, but he does tell the Jedi, I guess you would call me a Sith. Right. Again, these people, I don't know if Soul has any recommendation of it or whatever, but apparently none of these people know that the Sith even exist. Right. Because you guys even said that earlier in conversation that they don't even know that they exist. So why would this guy show up and be like, hey, what's up? I got my lightsaber out and I'm holding this shit hostage.
It's not the fact that they don't exist. The Sith has been around hundreds of years before this show even took place. So they're aware that the Sith exists. They just haven't seen it. They thought they thought that it was eradicated. It was gone. It's not like they're not
aware.
They're not aware. So I'm not exactly following what you're saying, because it's like you're speaking of it from as if like the Sith have never existed and they don't know what the fuck a Sith is. That's not true. Like the Sith has been
no. What I'm saying is, we talked about how this guy has a purpose.
Yeah.
Like, so as to why he's saying that he's doing all of this stuff. And I'm saying that dialogue wise and directing wise and story wise, they haven't given it to us yet, because the only thing that he says is his purpose is the factor that he just wants to exist, like you said, and he wants an apprentice. But the only thing this guy has done is shown up to murder. He didn't show up to talk to these people about wanting to be accepted. He came with violence first and then spoke later. So like he showed up to that fifth episode with hands already. Like he didn't show up coming in there and being like, hey, you know what? Like I'm repressed. I don't need to be treated this way. I want respect.
Because if the Jedi find out what he is, there is no talking. That's the reason why. They're not going to be talking with him if he gives himself up. They're going to lock his ass up, or they're going to try to fucking fight him. Like there's talking. That's the reason why he decided. So that's the reason why he decided before we even get there, I'm going to take you out first, and that's just going to be that. Because the only Jedi that know about these witches that are out here doing this weird shit are these groups. So they gotta go. They have to go. And so that's the reason why. Like there's reasoning behind it. I don't think it's and that's why I think like everyone's giving this a bad rap. I think the shit's there. You might not like it, you might not agree with it, but there is some substance there to the story. I just think the execution is where they're fucking up. There is something there. They could have really made a really good show here. They're just fucking it up.
I mean, they have enough assets to make a good show. It's all there. It's like you said, it's a layup, dude. It's a fucking layup. It's Star Wars. Yeah. Like you said, they could have made an entire season of just lightsaber fights, and it would have been entertaining. You know what I mean? Like it's all there. Like that's the thing.
Who's really gonna watch a show about just a bunch of Jedi and Sith or Knights of Ren just fucking each other up for 8 episodes? I would watch that shit.
Yeah, I watch slapping championships, bro. Like, you know what I mean? If I'm watching that shit,
do you watch the jujitsu car shit where they gotta like?
Yeah, I watch all that shit.
You watch that shit?
Yeah, we got a group chat of all my fighters, bro. They're always putting up stupid shit, dude. We just saw the one where that fucking bodybuilder killed like 2 fucking 125ers the other day. Did you show that shit when he fucking beat the shit out of 2 125ers? A bodybuilder, dude. Dude, it was fucking nuts. I'll send you that video.
You can bet on that. You know that? Out here in New Jersey, you can bet on the whole judo car shit. That's crazy.
It's wild, man. The car one is nuts, dude. Russia's crazy as fuck, but like it's really hard to do a bad show of Star Wars. You have to really, really try to do a bad show. Like you really got to try to really throw some weird shit out there. For me, it's one of those things that I think the idea. Okay, so even with this that we're talking about, like this guy, you know, you guys said it too. Like he's not even claiming to be a Sith. He's just saying that normally Jedi would call him a Sith for the practices and things that he does, right? But he's not claiming to be a Sith. But that's the thing is like we are only like 2 episodes away from the finale, and we don't know shit about anything about these people are doing. Even in the factor of at the ending of episode, not even at the ending, dude, at the mid-range or even the beginning of episode 6, May, who saw this guy wipe out the complete ass of the Jedi that she was with that was trying to protect her, and her get fucking thrown across the field, diced up, and her use like a fucking zappy gun to try to knock him out, and it don't do shit. Like she doesn't kill this guy. Like she doesn't kill him because he's misunderstood. Like I don't
Again,
any format. Yeah. What would you have done? What would you have done if you were in that moment?
I think I don't know. I mean, if you're following May's story, her whole life has just been filled with fucking lies and deceit, and she finally finds someone that's telling her the truth. She
Wait,
finds
what do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean
Like,
lies? She started off in the cult, the witch cult, the witchy thing. I don't know what to call it, the motherin or brethren or sisterin, or she started in that. That wasn't a lie. That was their whole culture. It's not a lie. It's just what they believe in.
The big reveal is a lie. The big reveal is a whole thing about a lie. We all know that there's something there. Something
we
there
know that
happened.
something happened, right? The
So
explosion thing that we were talking about.
So if we do, she does. She's made it very known that something's off. That's why she left the Jedi in the first place. Like she left there because something was off. She knew something was off. So was acting funny. Everyone's acting funny. Like everyone's secluding themselves because of some wild shit that's happened. So like she's been lied to. She feels like she's been lied to. She feels like, you know, she's just out here on her own. She finally finds someone that's telling her the truth, giving her like you know, the freedom to make her own choices, to do whatever the fuck she wants, and she finds that shit fucking appealing. So she's not going anywhere. I think that if I was in that same situation, I might hear the guy out. I might hear what he's got to sell.
I don't know, man. That's a lot of Jeffrey Dahmer shit he did in that previous episode.
Well,
and you're in a situation where you're like, not. I mean, 100%.
You didn't kill me. I'm still alive. You could have killed me. Like she said, she even acknowledged it. You know, yeah. You could have killed me. Why didn't you?
She's special. She has a special birth. She has a purpose. She's
a tool. That's going to be appealing to her. Someone that is feeding into that, is feeding into that she's wanted, that, you know, that she is special, that there is a bigger plan for her. He's pitching to her this entire episode. He's pitching his idea to her, and he's doing it masterfully. She's falling right into the fucking trap. And so that's the Sith shit. Yeah. So like I'm saying, he's seducing her. He's pulling her in. Like, so there's something to that. There is something to you can sink your teeth into it. I just don't think that it's enough. I don't think that it's enough. They're not executing it well.
I think we can all agree that Kamir's character, Manny something, I forgot his last name, is probably the best thing in the show. Right, the villain guy. I think the movement between him being like an everyday dude when he's not in costume, and then he puts the costume on, and he's this fucking murderous, you know, monstrous character. I think we can all kind of consume that this guy's got some range. Out of all the characters in the show, I think he's the one with the most range. The only one other than that I feel would be like a second runner up would be the Soul character, Manny. Yeah, Manny is Jacinto, right? Thank you, Mike. He to me is probably the best thing, which goes back to the fact of as to why I think the helmet, like his character, like the helmet would possibly sell out and be on sale really quick. And, you know, Star Wars, it could be like the shittiest helmet and it's going to go on sale and people will buy the shit out of it just to have. But it's not a bad looking design either. It's a pretty dope ass looking helmet. But I think that guy is doing a phenomenal job on the show. Every time he's on, it kind of brings me like, okay, cool. Like I can watch this dude. I'm not disappointed with this guy as much. As delivery's good. Even when he was like the dude in the shop, he was funny. When he first acknowledges the Jedi and he's like, don't get into my mind or whatever, you fucking weirdos or whatever. And, you know, all that stuff. He's written very, very charming. He's got a very charming demeanor to him.
Yeah.
I don't think the chick that's doing May is doing and I forgot the other OSHA. I don't think she's doing that big of a or great of a job doing the differences in the because I mean she was super dry in this video or in this episode. There wasn't a lot that I was interested about it. Even the factor of when she puts the helmet on at the end and the Vader breathing and all that stuff. Like I really wasn't impressed by that. But the helmet does look reminiscent of what the Knights of Ren were doing, right? Very much into the Knights of Ren format. And not only that, it deals with, like if you look at like the Darth Vader helmet and things like that are in the stories right now, most of them are just equipment. But this one actually dwells into a mineral that was a purposeful mineral. Like there's research done as to why they use it. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like the Beskar armor. Like there's things behind it that tell you it's more intricate. And of course, that's always dedicated to different cultures in the Star Wars community. They're the ones that, since the Jedi were always the ones that were the kyber crystals, we farm kyber crystals. We have lightsabers. That's our thing. There was other factions of different users of the Force or the thread or whatever they want to call it, whatever they come to it, that needed an opportunity to fight against the more powerful faction, which was the Jedi. I think it's interesting. I just think his character is probably the most interesting thing in the story. If it does go Knights of Ren, I would like that idea because that was always something that I wanted in the first place. And the last movies didn't really give us anything except it just turned them into like a weird group of guys that were always around, right? They were just hunting these dudes and they didn't really do much. Michael Betancourt says the helmet is a test. She didn't take her Jedi test to face her fears. So this helmet is going to reveal those lies Brian is anticipating. Hey, Brian, is that what you're waiting for?
I just think that it's not about it being revealed, which I think it will be at some point. I think it's more, again, just from the character and her journey that we're trying to follow this entire time. I just think that she is feeling like nothing is real or nothing is true to her. She knows something's up and she's found someone that is willing to be honest with her. And I disagree with you. I think the helmet scene was fucking awesome. I think the Vader breathing was fucking awesome. It was a bit I think it was a bit aggressive, but I like it. Because I expected there to be a backlash about that. But I mean, I liked it. I like the balls on this lady to do that in this show. Because we all knew what we were supposed to think when she put that helmet on. So I do like that he's seducing her with all this shit. And I do like the whole place that they're at is filled with this shit. So they could build an army that has that shit as armor, and I think that's gonna be pretty cool.
What do you think is gonna happen in the next 2 episodes?
I think it's gonna be dragged out, but I think we're gonna find out whatever it is that they've been hiding from us the whole show, and we're gonna find out that the Jedi are a piece of shit, and we're gonna see the toll that it took on them, and as to why they look so disheveled by the time we've caught up with them. Besides Soul, and I think that one, Soul is either going to turn to the dark side because he's been real emotional with his bitch ass the entire show, or I do think that May start the Knights of Ren with the Stranger, and I don't think any Jedi make it out alive in the show.
I mean, it's only Soul by himself, isn't he? Like the last one left. No,
Yeah,
because this other chick, they're showing up, right?
Yeah, so I think all Jedi die. I don't think any Jedi live to tell this tale.
That's crazy, man. Do you think we're gonna get a reveal of a bigger master? You think that, like, there's a lot of talks of maybe like a Lord Plagueis or?
I did hear there was a report that he is in the show, so we'll get him eventually. I think that I think that's that could be what it is that this is either the start or a different iteration of the Knights of Ren, and that's where they're headed for this.
Because I actually heard that there's a possibility we're gonna get the actual Snoke Did you hear about that? Because Snoke has been written about in the
Uh,
comic books,
I think
and
that would have
Snoke,
been. I think that would have been. I don't know. I don't. I don't think so.
yeah,
I don't
because
think
I
that.
heard
I don't
that.
think so.
Let me see, Snoke. Uh, I actually heard that.
Oh, and
This.
shout out to Michael Betancourt because he's the first person that I heard say that. That was weeks ago when you were talking about the Knights of Ren. I don't know if you came up with that. If that's like an original,
Mhm,
Michael Betancourt guest there, but shout out to you because you definitely said that before I even thought about it.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I remember you guys talking about it. And again, Snoke was the one that was pushing for the Knights of Ren more, and then established that Kylo Ren was about it or whatever. But yeah, there is like a comic book that does a reveal for the origins of like the Knights of Ren and all this other stuff. And this character, and I can't remember, maybe if I show it and Mike sees it, he'll see what I'm talking about. This guy with the helmet was one of the guys that was in charge of creating the Knights of Ren.
Hmm.
And I don't know who this dude is, but apparently, like this person, or that was the original Snoke character, but he's very much written in the comic book, very much like the way the Stranger is. That a lot of people are taking reference to him being who the Stranger is and where they're getting a lot of his dichotomy from. So I'm not familiar if what is it, if Michael Betancourt has read this part of the comic book or whatnot. So that way you guys can see it. But yeah, there's a lot. I don't know who this guy is. That'd be really cool. Yeah, Ren. Look, it's just Ren. Look, he's like I am called Ren. So very exciting times, man. I mean, if we get the opportunity to get a really cool breakdown of the Knights of Ren, that would be great. Again, I still think kind of like misfiring into the later episodes is probably like a bad call for the show to do. I think they should have kind of done this earlier, so that way it kind of locks people more in. Because of course we want more information about the Knights of Ren, but yeah, we got to see where it goes from here. So far, Brian, we're on episode 6. What would you recommend the show? What do you give it as a review? And yeah, man, what do you think?
That last episode was a complete waste of my time. I give this show probably as 5, 6 at best.
Okay.
They got a lot of work to do in these next 2 episodes.
Okay. Hopefully they push through. We got 2 more episodes. Hopefully they stick the landing, right? Brian, as to what we got going on for this coming week, man. What do you got coming up?
Wait, are we not talking about The Boys?
Oh yeah, what the fuck? Holy shit. I totally forgot. Did you get to catch the last episode of The Boys? God damn, I totally forgot about The Boys. What the hell?
Yeah, I did. I watched the last episode. Yeah.
What'd you think?
I liked it. I liked
Yep.
it. A lot of people said that the episode went too far. I disagree. I think if we went through the Hero Gasm episode, we can get through
Yeah, that's
anything.
already far fetched.
So I don't know what the what all the pissing and moaning is about with that, but I like the episode. I think it was more of the same. I'm not really too invested in all the other side missions that are going on right now. I do think Sister Sage is still an interesting character to me. I think um Homelander, that last scene, no spoilers to anyone that hasn't seen it, but that last scene was kind of gnarly, and I'm interested to see what goes on with that. And Butcher, like we find out that, I mean, we all kind of guessed it, that basically the wife and fucking Negan were fucking just in his head. Well, they're not even in his head. I think Negan is a manifestation of whatever the fuck is crawling around in his body and is taking over. So
Yeah.
I think that's what that is. So I'm really interested to see how that works out. I think we're gonna get a lot more Jeffrey Dean Morgan now that the cat's out the bag. So I can't wait for that. But other than that, dude, I'm not really looking forward to any. Oh, the A Train arc, redemption arc. I think he's gonna die at the
Yeah,
end
of
of the
course.
season, but I like his redemption arc. I think it's gonna be a good way to go out. Yeah, and you know what? It's funny because I actually talked to somebody at my job yesterday because I knew I was gonna come in here today to talk about this, and I asked her because she's a big The Boys fan. I actually overheard her talking about it at the bar, and
Nice.
I
I
asked
love
her.
that
I
kind of
was
stuff,
like,
man.
yeah. I asked her. I said, what about this last episode? Now, mind you, I didn't realize that she was like a fucking The Boys
Fan.
fan, right? She's a fan. She's been following basically all the characters in this since Supernatural, and
Yeah.
she's a big fan. And she's basically in long form. I was trying to get the fuck out of there and go home. I shouldn't have asked this question at the end of the night, but
Yeah, the
she
whole
started.
podcast.
She was going in, and she was like, everyone that's watching it, they don't understand, the creator and these characters. So apparently she doesn't think they went too far either. So I think everyone was just blowing it out of proportion, because once I watched it, I was like, this wasn't that bad.
Yeah, I don't think they've gone that bad at all. I mean, the
The
one that
Huey
I
shit
thought
was
was
kind of
really,
gnarly.
yeah, like you kind of just know that this is what happens in The Boys. And I mean, really, whatever it is that they're talking about that they went too far was, I guess, the Tech Knight thing. But that was established in Gen V. Like in Gen V, they literally say if it has a hole, Tech Knight wants to fuck it.
Yeah.
And the whole thing was the spider guy has the hole that's in his lower back. So literally, I thought he just wanted to put his thingy in there, like just because it was a hole he hadn't touched. That was 100% what I thought. I didn't think it was going to go into like the S&M kind of stuff or whatever, but it wasn't that fucking crazy if you think about it. Like it literally 4 episodes before there was a clone guy eating his own stuff. You know what I mean? Like I thought that was
I
some of
think
the
a lot of the
crazy shit.
narrative, from what I've seen, the narrative was based around the fact that Huey was kind of in a like a SA situation. Like it wasn't.
Oh, because he
It
didn't.
wasn't.
Yeah, because he wasn't really aware of all this stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But
So
it's
it
the
was
boys,
like,
dude. Like it's the boys. Like you should be signed up for this. If you know Tech Knight as a character from the comics, you knew exactly how that shit was gonna happen.
yeah, no. Listen, I agree with you. But some people aren't going to want to hear that. It's the boys. Like some people aren't going to want to hear it, and they're going to have their panties in a bunch about it. But
Of
again,
course.
I agree with you. I just think that it was a little bit blown out of proportion. I think that if you were going to have uproar about any episode being on fucking streaming, it would have been Hero Gasm, because that shit was
Herogasm.
out of control. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get where people can, but again, like these are probably people that aren't understanding of how the IP was originally. Because if you already knew the source material, you knew exactly what they were getting. I mean, literally, Tech Knight in the comic book dies because he has sex with an asteroid, and that's gonna smash into the planet or whatever, and he wants to have sex with it before it blows up in space or whatever. Like
Yeah,
the guys.
that actually never happened though. That was just
No,
in
it's
his
not gonna
head.
happen. Yeah, it doesn't happen
No,
in the show
no,
anymore.
no. In the comics, that doesn't happen. That was in his head. I think he goes into like a coma and dreamt that whole thing. He doesn't
Really?
actually die. Yeah, he doesn't actually die that way. Yeah, no,
I could have sworn that's how he actually dies.
no.
But I mean, again, I mean, I wouldn't be fucking, it's one of those things. Like, you just have to be aware that this is what the show consists of. And of course,
Yeah,
since it's live action, they're going to push it even worse. I mean, if they're worried about how Huey had to deal with this, I mean, how did they get past the first episode with Starlight? Because that's sexual assault. Like, you remember, I mean, everybody remembers what happens in the first episode. Like, that's straight
yeah.
up. I mean, that's the footprint to the whole fucking season in the first part.
Homelander
I mean,
raped the mother of fucking Ryan.
dude, I'm telling you,
straight
like,
up raped
how
her.
did they get past the first season? Like, how did these people complaining about Huey get past the first season? For me, it was one of those things that I thought it was kind of hardcore that they wrote the scene in, and like Huey wasn't at all mourning, like at the beginning of this episode. I would have figured like the way they would have wrote his character was that his dad died. He needs time, like to kind of like cope and then come back. He was right back to it the next day, and he was already going into the like he already knew he was going to go into some weird shit.
I think that's
Knew.
relatable. I think that's a relatable trait, though. I know a lot of people that'll try to
Coping and
work
stuff.
through. Yeah, they'll try to work through their grieving. Like I can see that being a part of the show. That's relatable.
Yeah, like I just thought, like in my mind, I was like, okay, like they're gonna set him off into a crazy adventure, and we all saw Tech Knight in Gen V, so you know exactly how cynical and how crazy this guy is. And then the moment when Huey walks in and he sees like the breathing get weird, sees the palpitations in his heart, you already knew this was gonna get crazy. And then not only that, when they introduce the I want to say, what is his name, like the living spider or whatever, what I forgot what the Spider-Man guy's name is. But when they introduce him in the story and you see that he has the little spider hole like above like his tailbone or whatever, once he was going to go into this thing and you see that the costume has the little hole in the back that's open, I was like, bro, this guy's going to want to do some sick shit. Like you already knew it was coming. Web Weaver, there you go. Now what's cool about it is Quaid, the guy that plays Huey, is actually the voice of Peter Parker in of one of the Peter Parkers in the Spider-Verse. So like it's all like a big like circle, like a big circle of life. You're him playing another Spider-Man in another universe. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was real meta for him to be another Spider-Man. Of course, it didn't go as cool the way he thought it was going to be, but yeah, I thought this episode was actually, it was pretty entertaining. It was probably just as entertaining as the animal farm, the Compound V farm animal scene. Like just a lot of craziness. But how do you feel? Like, okay, so the ending scene when it comes to Butcher and all of this stuff. So you feel that the Negan character is going to be the manifestation of the actual symbiote or the thing that's in his head? Like, do you feel like that? So you think that's conscious, like that it has its own like the symbiote's going to be like a Venom symbiote?
I think that's exactly what it's like.
Oh shit. You know, the only thing so far that I feel is like a really like a filler or a missed episode is the dad's episode. I thought it was very heartfelt and it did pull at the heartstrings, but I feel they should have done more with the dad's character. They had an opportunity to kind of like maybe make him a small reoccurring villain, send him out there in the world and make him just like this weird evil person that can like, I don't know, like a serial killer. But yeah, man, the Negan guy, Jeffrey D. Morgan, I think he's been doing an amazing job in this story. I think the way they've written him in as this whole like Fight Club kind of personality is fucking good. Really, really good. So so far I'm really, really impressed by this last episode. I thought it was really well done. And yeah, I'm really excited. How many episodes is this season gonna have of The Boys? Do we know or no?
I don't know.
Season 3, right?
This is 4, I think.
Season 8. It's gonna have 8 episodes.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah.
Right? Is that where we're at right now? Nope, we're in season 4.
I said that. Yeah, we're in season 4. I think it's still 8 episodes though.
Yeah, it'll probably be 8 episodes. Yeah, that's dope. So right now we are on episode 6, so we still got 2 more episodes, and this show is doing a lot better than the Alcolyte, man. Not gonna lie, it's doing way better than the Alcolyte. But yeah, what do you think's gonna happen in the next 2 episodes of The Boys? What do you think? What do you feel? What do you
feel? I think they are going to start executing their plan and getting what's the
Victoria?
head popper? Yeah, Victoria. They're gonna try to get her to be president and start executing their plan. I really think that Homelander's not fucking around and he's trying to take over the world. I think that's what this whole plan is. And he's
do you think with the firecracker girl, you think she's back to being a little bit more normal now that he's got that piece of him back?
No, I think everything's a play for her. I think she doesn't like being unseen and she doesn't like being like dismissed and talked to the way that Sister Sage talks to her. She doesn't like that. So I think her ultimate plan is to be like Homelander's like confidant and someone that he runs to talk shit through, like so she can feel important. I think that's her whole end game here.
Yeah,
I don't think she makes it out this season alive either.
Oh, you think she's gonna get smoked like in the next 2 episodes?
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why she would have hinted about the heart enlargement being a side effect along with the lactating thing. I think that was put in there for a reason.
That's dope. Yeah, I could kind of feel like her character's like a throwaway. I'm really liking the A Train storyline though, man. I like the flip that they kind of gave him, and they gave it to him in this last episode where he had the full circle of life. The kid sees him as a hero saving another character. Like, I dig it, man. I really like what they're finally doing with his character. Even if he gets like a last hoorah, I feel like maybe he kind of like maybe does like a run to try to hit Homelander and fucking splats up against him like a wall or some shit. But like, yeah, I really dig what they're doing with A Train. I really, really liked it. So, but do you think A Train's going to die this season, or you think it's going to be next season?
I think a lot of people die before the end of
This season.
before the end of the season. Yeah.
I kind of feel like he's going to be like a sacrifice at the end, right? Like he'll be the dude that kind of like saves everybody in the end. I think that would be really poetic for his character.
Ultimately, I think that it's gonna come down to Butcher and Homelander. I think everyone else is on the chopping block. Everyone else can go at any minute. So I'm not really attached to any one of these people.
Yeah. True that. Review. How would you rate the show so far before the last 2 episodes?
I'm actually enjoying this season. I'm gonna give it right now probably like a 7. I don't know if it's my favorite season. Actually, I don't think. I do like how ballsy it is and how meta it is. Like even more so this season. I like the balls of it, but I don't know if it's my favorite season. But I would probably give it like a 6, maybe a 7.
Yeah,
So
about the
far.
same boat. I'm gonna probably give it a 7. I think it's pretty good. It's kind of like in the factor of what The Boys is. It has gotten more meta, which is interesting. They did deviate a lot from the comic books, but I think that with the freedom and creativity that they're bringing, it's not too crazy or out of line with what it is. I mean, we're still somewhat getting a president fixture. We still have Homelander getting to the White House, which is kind of like comic book accurate. We do have not a clone of him, because even with the noir character, that was funny as fuck, dude. The noir guy, like I was like, what is this? What the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Of course, in the comic book, he's like a psychotic clone variation of Homelander, the twin. This time we have Ryan, the son, which again, he's still out there being a little bit devious and being a little bit weird. So, yeah, really, really excited what they're going with The Boys. Cool shit, man. So again, 7, highly recommended, guys. Go check it out. Especially, it's more of a mature audience. If you're underage, don't watch it. If you're an adult, watch it. But yeah, other than that, pretty good stuff. Anything else going on this week, Brian?
Nah, man. Nope.
No.
Nothing going on this week, bro. It's gonna be
Back
hot
to
as
work
fuck.
or what?
It's been hot. I never left work. So yeah, I'm going back to work. So it's been hot as fuck over here. It's been extremely humid night and day. It's been pretty miserable out here, not gonna lie to you.
Yeesh.
So I think we just have a lot of that look forward to. But other than that, man, that's it.
That Valley rubbing off on you, man. You're gonna get a Bronco 956 over there soon, man.
Can't
That's what
wait.
it is. Can't wait. We're gonna send him your way, dude. It's gonna be fun. You'll be the only guy that knows him. You're gonna be the only guy that knows him. But Brian, thank you very much for joining us on the show, man. I know you're a busy guy and you're usually working, so I'm really happy that you got tonight off.
Yo, we gotta figure out a different outro, bro. Like that's just getting old. I'm here every fucking week arguing with your ass, bro. Stop thanking me, bro. Let's just
I gotta thank you, man.
We gotta get a different outro, bro. I love being here. I love this show. I love talking about nerd shit. And
I just like that you get time off of work, man. I'm really appreciative of that because I know you're busy, dude, and I know your job calls you up all the time. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I
so
appreciate
I have
you.
To thank you. I appreciate you too, motherfucker. I appreciate you too. But straight, like, yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. This week's coming up. We got Deadpool coming up. I got my guys that are training for fights. I'm really excited. I got some things on the pipe that we're working on, and yeah, man, trying to just keep busy. I really appreciate everybody that's out there that's always coming in to support us. Thank you guys very much. Michael Betancourt says he wants to come on the show in a couple of days or maybe like 2 or 3 weeks when the Alcolyte finishes. So be
believe
prepared,
it when I
boys
see
and
it,
girls.
Mike.
Yeah, be prepared, boys and girls. Mr. Betancourt's going to be on here throwing some hot ass fire for the Alcolyte show. So hopefully it lands, man, because I don't want it to be where that episode comes in and we're all like, man, that sucks. Man, that sucks. Next week is going to be love you and fuck you, Brian. Next week is going to be a Love You and Fuck You, Brian. That's super funny, dude. I like that. But all right. Well, guys, thank you very much for tuning in to the show. We appreciate every one of you. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like us, share, and subscribe our podcast. We really appreciate you. Don't forget to try to like us on YouTube. We have a really good turnaround on YouTube last week. So hopefully we can get to maintain and you guys enjoy the show with us. So we appreciate you. See you again next Sunday here on the Average Boys Podcast. Have a safe week. Everybody that's out there dealing with this weird ass thunderstorm down here in the South area, be careful. We have a couple of our people that watch out of Corpus and San Antonio. We appreciate every one of you guys. Be safe. And we'll see you guys again here next week. Average Boy Podcast. Laters.